Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Element Phoenix Qualifiers number 5 this time. I have here with me my boy Crashy. He's going to be filling in for Play Safe here on the Sunday cast here. Guys, I have something to explain to y'all. If y'all thought yesterday was good, if y'all thought that was stacked, you have no idea what's coming, okay? I'm seeing name after name after name, very, very prominent in the community. Of course, Crashy, take us through a few of these names I'm sure even you recognize as a newer player for the launch.
Yeah, this one's stacked. this one's a stacker. I'm just gonna read a
joke.
few. No disrespect to anybody that I don't read out, but we got Marcus, aka Apostle, Gigabyte, Kamski, Elpa Dog, Dark Breakers, No One, Aquari, Casper Spooks. I mean, I've seen these names not only in scrims, they're around the community. They're some of the best players that are in the game. I mean, Elpa Dog and Kamski in the same qualifier, that alone is a talking point. And then we have Gigabyte in the qualifier as well. I mean, there's yikes. You know what I mean? Like yikes.
Yeah. So if you're a newer person in the Spellbreak community and you're trying to get into qualifier, maybe you should have gone to qualifiers 1 through 4, because qualifier 5, it's no one but people that I recognize from beta. It's actually insane. We have veteran upon veteran, like you said. By the way, just want to point this out there. Spooks, it's actually a different Spooks. It's not the same one.
Okay.
It's not Spooks.
Spooks
Yeah.
2.
We got Spooks too. Let's see if he's just as good. But no, seriously, qualifier 5 could probably fill in a final by itself. It's that insane. But as we get ready to go into a lobby, I want to kind of elaborate what happened yesterday. We saw quite the variety of builds that were coming out, especially a lot of Tempests, like a lot more Tempests than I thought would come out. And actually, we had one of our Tempests actually win the qualifier. So I'm really, really interested to see what kind of new strategies we see. Of course, we always have the tried and true Pyromancers, usually what people go for, Conduit. But I'm down to see some more Toxicologists and Tempests. What about you, Crash?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm the type of player that has just been playing so much of everything, really deep diving into the game. And just to like let's be honest, let's just like talk about the game and promote the game for a second. There's so many different play styles, man. There's very rarely do I find that there's like a class that can only be played like one way. And then you have like class and build viability depending on like what mode you're playing, who you're pairing up with, like what kind of like the comp is. And so yeah, man, it's always really cool when you see someone bring something that's like not just like unique, but it's more so just like their style and they can make it work. Because at the end of the day, that's like what meta is, right? Like what is the meta? It's just whatever works for those players or any given community of players. And yeah, man, I think watching Toxicologists, we actually didn't see, I feel like, as much Conduit as I was expecting. And that's a little interesting. And we'll see how that develops, because we're building this story as a community, as a group of competitive players and people that have this competitive interest over time. So like the more and more we watch, the more that gets carved at, chipped away a little bit more and more they learn about how and who they can play against in a certain way.
Yeah, you make a great point there that the meta is really only as useful as the people using it, right? And of course, yesterday we saw, like I said, quite a plethora of stuff. Whether you're good at tracking, maybe you want to pick up the Conduit, maybe you're just good at hitting those midair fireballs, then Pyromancer is more your game. Or if you're like me and you just can't aim, then you just pick up Stone Shaper because it has a huge hitbox, but I won't get into that. But anyway, I'm down to see quite a few different strategies. I know that a lot of names in this list definitely have a lot of different strategies that they like to use. Like we have Darkbreakers is back for this one for a second chance. He likes to use a lot of Stone Shaper usually. Gigabyte on the Conduit, Kamski with Toxicologist, Pyro, and Conduit. Marcus on the Frostborn and Tempest. We have quite a plethora. As we jump right into this game here, it won't be too long. We'll be right in it.
Yeah, it's exciting because we do have to tell the story. And for anybody that's new, that's jumping in on the broadcast, I mean, it's always important to kind of like fill them in on how things work. We do a 6-game qualifier where we do 3 games on NA East, 3 games on EU. And that does affect the strategies going in. You may not want to play a certain type of play style or a certain type of build, depending on the latency that you're dealing with. So we're going to be jumping into the game right now. It's going to be early on, game number 1 here out of 6. We're going to be on the NA East region, and I just barely peeking that kill feed. You actually see Marcus, aka Apostle, getting his first kill. So big shout out to Marcus for signing up. We have Kamski on board, like you said, going to be rocking that Toxicologist build as well.
Yeah, and we see Casper here just looting around. There's quite a variety of different loot places that we're seeing already, and we definitely see Marcus swinging out here pretty early on with the Frost, no less. That makes me think that maybe he opted for a Frostborn build, or maybe he just got lucky on his Tempest and found a nice little Frost outlet. But anyway, we see Funklord PhD already getting the double kill. Cavs JM making himself known on Professor Sauce, but I think that's just a bot, so we won't talk about that one. We see Drasticon just looting up in my favorite area of the map. Actually, those windmills, that's some pretty nice effects there with the with kind of the wind waves that go through the sails. It's really nice. And Gigabyte looks like found himself on another team on KW, and he's going to pick up a kill with the Toxic, no less.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We'll have to see what kind of a build he's running. You know, Gigabyte being well known for using the conduit, using that lightning gauntlet, and he is playing on controller. But we've seen the aim assist nerf, so I mean, I've already been kind of paying attention to how the controller discussion and how the strength of controller has been playing out. And I'm going to be honest, man, I feel like I'm still seeing really strong, dominant controller players you know, performing and doing really, really well. So that's always going to be really a nice narrative to be able to tell and to talk about. Oh, Drasticon goes down in the kill feed. You see third Q going ahead and taking him out, and Gigabyte actually finding a second elimination. And Kamsky, look at that, putting up a kill on the board as well. As we're just kind of surveying the field. Look at Elpadog. He's just taking a little break, you know, staring at the wall.
Yeah, that's a really nice wall, let me tell you. And I was correct on Marcus here. He is rocking the Frostborn instead of the Tempest, which is what we normally see on him. So interesting stuff from him. Rocking the Toxic offhand as well. Roaming Gnome is going to find himself a nice little fight in Himwood and Novan. We're really just seeing, I don't know if we're just not getting the better end of the Spectator or what's going on, but it seems to be kind of calm right now. We might already be in the mid-game lull, or maybe we're just not seeing action where it's happening.
Yeah, you can see Carrie Caitlyn. I hope I say that right. Carrie Caitlyn getting a exile there, and King Kaizen just kind of looting around. And I mean, it's always that important stage. You know, Casper finds an exile as well. And you know, the thing about the early game, and I've kind of like struggled just like playing pub games, you know, you kind of want to fly around and get as many kills as possible, but it does also, like, when you're really trying to build a trajectory for a win, especially when you know you're up against good players, it's so important to make sure that you're educated, you're reading those scrolls, you're up in those passive percentages. And you know, there's opportunities where you may be flying around looking for some kills. Look at this Kamsky looking to follow up some damage. He does land. That Ice Lance is now pushing in, finds a quick kill. Wow, what a play, man.
Yeah,
Sabbatarian
absolutely
is going to go down there.
Absolutely demolished there. Not even close, and he's not even moving around like he really wants more. He's just like, yeah, if I see somebody, they're just dead. I'm just gonna do it.
Elpadog finding the exile onto Juan Cheeto as well. So Juan Cheeto's going to find himself out a little bit early. Ooh, and look at that. That was a nice little belt find. I'm not sure if he already had one. Aquari. I have to talk about Aquari a little bit. I love Aquari. I have bumped into Aquari a few times. Very, very good Frostborn player. So I'm really excited to see how he can bring that play style. I don't actually know if that's what he's playing. I didn't get the peek on it, but you know, definitely going to be interesting to see. And now we actually have a Tox Frost player here. Weirdo 290. Weirdo 290 rocking the game, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. We see third Q here, fresh off his one exile there in the beginning. He is going to go ahead with the approach option with the conduit there, no less.
Yeah, and I was gonna say he's Tempest Tempest Lightning offhand, but he had the legendary Lightning, and I don't know if anybody's seen some content coming out from Tacos, but Tempest Lightning is not as unviable as you would think, man. It's got some strength to it. You can definitely get some squall bonuses out of that. But Juicy Burrito kind of tanking a little bit of Storm, and now we have the Dark Breakers looking to potentially pursue a fight here.
Yep, and he is rocking that Stone Shaper. Oh, Kamsky just deletes him right in front of him. Oh, that's got to be so scary. You're chasing after a guy and you just see a little light blue beam just destroy him. And now he's getting approached on the back end here. We do have a Tempest on deck right here. And Darkbreaker's rocking his normal build with the Stone Shaper and Wind Shear offhand, but he's rocking the Focus Mana of all things. He's looking to get 50 plus off that Shockwave for sure.
Yeah, this build is really interesting, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to like build diversity and playstyle variants, because you can't really look at this build. I mean, I don't know, maybe this is wrong to say. I don't feel like you can look at this build and view it as a meta build per se. It's not something that you're seeing, a bunch of people talk about. It's not something you're seeing a ton of people running, but the Darkbreakers has a playstyle that he likes to pursue, and one thing that's really important to talk about with that build specifically is the fervor. You're doing that wind spam, you have that strong SMG, so it's really all about just like hard engaging someone, getting in their face, landing some strong damage. And look at this, we got Novan in a fight here at the front. Kamski just absolutely dominating, finds one, finds two, a query goes down. Kamski already has 5 exiles on the board, looking to make it 6.
Oh my goodness, that was back-to-back snipes, and you can't tell me that wasn't impressive to watch. I am just watching a meat grinder right now, and Kamski is looking for his next piece of meat to get out of the lobby just so quickly. And you see his build here, the 2-2-2 1.0 on the Thirsty. He knows he's not going to be in too much action. He's going to seal it out pretty quickly. Rocking the Toxicologist with the Shadow Step. Casper just absolutely reading his heart out right here, and he is going to be doing everything in his power to sort of dodge out of the way of that Frostborn, as we can see there. Now, interesting to note, I tested this earlier. If you're able to fire a Frostbolt as a Frostborn, and the Frost Trail is still has enough range to go through the firewall, the Frostbolt will actually go through the firewall. But if you're if you're far enough away, then it will get eaten up by the firewall. It's this weirdest thing, but the Frost Trail will definitely eat through flame walls, so maybe needs to be a little bit more careful at that range. Either way, we're going to see TR Space kind of get third-partied right here.
Yeah, the poke, man. It's that long-range Toxicologist poke that's just so frustrating and annoying. Space taking a lot of damage. He only has 2 more of these mini potions. Oh, the Firefly not going to go in his favor. But Gigabyte finding an elimination in the kill feed, as well as we see Space just kind of repositioning. And this is that standard 2-2-2 Dragonfire. So we're going to be looking around the field. But man, I've recently been talking a lot about Dragonfire. It's such a reliable build. I feel like it's actually just a great kickoff point for players that are looking to like maximize their potential with Pyromancer, but also just really looking to get into the game and try to find some projectile damage. But now we have Cyvex here at Fort Halcyon just trying to continue to fight this fight. But look at that. Is that a little bit of third-party action? I actually think that might be this player that he's going up against. He's kind of repositioning. You see some Ice Lance potential coming in. That might be Kamski, as Kamski has been floating this area entirely in that long-range shot. Now looking to set up a little bit of a combo, and that's actually going to land a bit here.
What are these
Cyvex,
direct fireballs? What are these direct fireballs?
Long range, completely beaming in as Cyvex looking to potentially pursue this kill. I mean, he's already got him dead to rights, but look at that. The third party coming in. Cyvex is not in a good position here.
Cyvex has got to be the luckiest person that I think I've seen play this game in a while. He didn't even see the Toxic Cloud come out. I think he just perfectly ended up timing Kamski's Vanishing Mist and Darkbreakers. Gonna hit him with that SMG action that you were talking about.
Yeah, you can see the play style as he's just jumping directly in. He's looking to get those stone slams, or the shockwaves rather. And I mean, when you're that close and you have fervor, again, man, that's really the kind of like the recipe for success, is that wind offhand. Wind offhand is not something you really see too often. I actually play it a little bit with Conduit myself, Conduit wind offhand, and again, it's the same thing. Without fervor, it really just doesn't feel like you're going to get a lot out of it. You see Marcus, aka Apostle, on the screen, Gills on the screen. Kamski, I believe, look at that, he just took out Darkbreakers, and prior to that, he had actually got Juicy Burrito as well. So I think Kamski's up to 7 exiles, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, I think you might be right. He had 5 when we were spectating him earlier, and that's 2 more on the kill feed. So if I got my first grade addition correctly, then he's definitely getting poked out right here, though. Our zone on the losing end of that trade, and Kamski just needs to land an Outbreak, and I was expecting it, and there it is. Here's number 2 and the Frost to finish, but misses that one. You can almost read his strategy like a book at some times, but he just executes it so well that it does not matter if you recognize it. Arzone going to dip his foot in the viscosity there just a little bit and try to skate his way out, but I don't think he's going to have much luck with that, as Kamski is just ruthless, and he has all the movement he needs to catch up with him. Let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah, our zone, I mean, kind of a desperate situation, tanking a little bit of the storm. He did have that health potion, so he can kind of make it work, but you have to imagine that Kamsky is just on the hunt. You actually see a little bit of Stone Shaper action coming out from Alpha Dog as Alpha Dog looking to put him down. That's going to be that 2/2/2 Runic Fervor Stone Shaper with Fire Offhand, and this, I mean, we've seen this build. It is a very aggressive build, a very, very strong Stone Shaper. Kind of like, I would probably say this is currently the meta Stone Shaper build. Again, you know, I don't want to hard force a meta on anybody, but we do see this build coming out a lot in the scene.
Yeah, definitely. And anyone that's familiar with Elpatog knows how much he likes to rush down his opponents. And oh my goodness, Kamsky and the kill feed again. It has to be at least 8 at this point. And Elpa is just going to be looking to stay on the outside saying, yeah, my teammate is actually cracked and I kind of don't want... Oh, but Marcus is going to find some shots. Almost gets the second one as well. That has got to be so dangerous for that man up there. He gets absolutely surprised as he tries to...
are you watching the kill feed?
I just saw
9,
it just
that's
now.
10 Kamsky. Back-to-back eliminations. Exiles coming in left and right. Gigabyte going to be putting himself back up on the board as well. This game, no matter how you look at it, has been Gigabyte and Kamsky.
Yeah, I think we need to give Kamsky a little bit more screen time because we are just missing so many plays, and I would much prefer to see that than someone get hit from a well-telegraphed Toxic Cloud. But anyway, King Kaizen actually made himself in the top 7. Good stuff to him. And Gigabyte, no shortage of exiles to him as well. This is going to be wide open, and now we see Gigabyte just rain down. Look at the melt coming out. Oh my goodness, he's already at half health from full armor. That is crazy.
I was going to say running the kind of like tanky talent setup, right? That Harmony scavenging with recovery. He's pretty scrolled up. Kamsky just has this high ground control. Look at that, 10 exiles to his name. It's going to be all Kamsky, all Marcus, aka Apostle, and Gigabyte coming up here in this end game because we have 7 total players left alive. And regardless, I mean, we're already looking at an amazingly strong performance coming out from Kamsky. You see a little bit of that Dragonfire pop as this player. Yeah, I mean, it's a dominant position. You have to use so much mobility economy just to try to push this player. And now Kamsky's going on the offensive. But look, he can take his time. He can kind of relax. And what do you think? I actually do want to get your analysis on the choice in this build specifically to run Thirsty.
Honestly, I mean, I mentioned it earlier that he's not going to find himself in too many extended fights. And that's where you really see recovery really start to kick in, and it doesn't really matter if you have the burst damage and you're able to sort of, oh, look at that beautiful Toxic Cloud placement there. I'll come back to this if we find a slow okay, here we go. So recovery's gonna be good. Never mind, he's still going into it, and all he needs to do is just shadow step and get that last little bit of outbreak, or just land a cheeky frost snipe. But he is against a better than average opponent, so he's going to go ahead and out of the way. Now in terms of his build here, yeah, that just happened. Okay, you take it here.
Finds 2, Kamsky. Looking to pop off, looking for the third. Will he be able to land it? Yes, he does. A hard engage potential. The toggle is on for Kamsky, apparently, as he's going to be looking to potentially follow this up. The back-to-back shots has 12 exiles. Will Kamsky find the 13th?
Oh my goodness, you're seeing pure execution. And this is pure mouse and keyboard as well. This man is just cracked. He is actually just cracked. There's no other way to put it. He's just not going to miss. He hits that one. That's got to be 5 for 5.
Back-to-back shots. It's like 3, 4, 5 shots in a row. Looking to find it. He has the thought. Oh my goodness. But look, lands another. Looking for the top flip. Oh man, the lightning is coming down. That might be Gigabyte as Marcus, aka Apostle, is going to go down to Elpa Dog, finds the elimination onto Gigabyte. Now 1v1v1, or no, 1v1 rather. Last 2 players remaining. It's Kamsky looking to find 14 on the board. A dominant performance coming out from Kamsky. He does not want to lose this. This is all about the playmaking here. Using that potential outbreak, 2 charges. He's looking for the snipe. He's going to land the Ice Lance to 1.
That is not.
Fire does come out, looks for another shot. This is a all but guaranteed fight. He's just looking to find it, looking to finish it up. Has to take it in simple and easy fashion.
Oh my good! I don't think I can get any analysis off of keeping the camera on to Kamsky, because he just makes plays every single time. And all the time as well. Like it's not even close. 14 exiles to open up. We have quite the contest on our hands here. And that was actually his teammate from I believe that they have a team called Untiered, and they usually duo up quite a bit.
Bruh. What are we watching?
You're watching it again on the delay.
I thought this was a qualifier. I didn't know we were just watching Kamsky stream, like, you know, playing some pubs. Like, what?
Oh, my
I'm so
goodness.
sorry to everybody else.
You're just
No,
seeing
I'm
what
having fun.
you're just seeing what pure
Ah,
execution gets you, okay? If you have perfect mechanics, I mean, you're gonna put up a 14 bomb. It's just that
wow.
simple, okay? He has a very mechanically heavy build that I'm watching on the delay there. You're seeing toxicologist. You have to be able to hit your shots, and if you play it perfectly, then you're gonna get perfect results. It's just a simple.
The irony of that performance is that like when I go up against that build specifically, you know, the runic fluency with shadow step into toxicology, you have the outbreaks, you have the vanishing miss. The thing that I complain about the most is like, oh my gosh, like vanishing miss, it's so annoying. They get so many charges, they have the outbreak, it's just so much damage. And this guy's like barely even using that part of the kit. Like at this point, the offhand frost gauntlet, we actually talked about this recently, how strong the offhand frost gauntlet is.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you can land shots, it takes that gauntlet and even like the Frostborn class itself just to toss it in there to a completely different level. Now everything about the toxicologist class is like extra. It's just
Yeah.
added mobility and
It really
potential to
is.
do more damage for Kamsky. That's crazy.
Yeah, we
That's
talk about
crazy.
this. We talk about this quite a bit in the community. How toxicologist probably has the most well-defined play style. How you're definitely that burst assassin, and everything in the kit kind of helps you towards that goal, with the exception maybe of spreading sickness. But you're even with spreading sickness, you're seeing that players who find just the right angle on these walls can like space it out to where you have a cloud close, you have a cloud mid, and you have a cloud long range, and you can literally just bounce one to each. And the outbreak is just, it's just pure damage output. And with Shadow Step back in the game, you're seeing absolutely just incredible amounts of burst. And we saw in that last little bit, Shadow Step, not only for the outbreak, but you can also use it to disguise your frost shots. It's actually insane and so well defined. And I'm glad I'm seeing it at its peak performance here. It's absolutely how you're supposed to play it. And Kamsky is just repping it so well.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually I wanted to like lead you into an analysis at one point when we were talking about Thirsty. And one thing that I've actually seen from the stealth and the shadow step, so we are going to be jumping into game number 2 now. But one thing that I've actually seen from shadow step with the toxicologist class, and the reason why I feel like I've seen a lot of usage on Thirsty, is because right when you first start that stealth, whether it's from a shadow step or from a vanishing miss, you get like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a number here, anywhere between like what, 25% or 50% of your pot done just because you're using Thirsty while you're stealthed. And so using Thirsty in a build like that might be better value than Recovery, because you can take advantage of those little pockets of stealth that you're going to get to actually just full reset your health.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it, and it's the reason why you're seeing it a lot on toxicologist builds, and also, to an extent, never mind. Kamsky's just going to open this one wide open, with the wind, no less. He definitely is looking. He doesn't even pick up the epic wind gauntlet. He says, "I don't need it. I'm going to turn my back to it, and I'm going to find me a frost because this is just an interim build." But anyway, like you were saying, those little pockets of invisibility, like you were saying, definitely give quite a big window for Thirsty to do its work for sure. And that's why you're seeing it a lot on Toxicologist and Frostborn, because you do have that space and you do have that utility to go ahead and get that potion up. And also, you just have so much room. You have so much room to do so many other things, right? You have
Yeah.
a little bit of opening to land your frost shots, anything else you want to do. Aquari's going to go ahead and give us a blank screen. Now he's playing Minecraft. He's in the terrain. Just kidding. He's out.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, you know, you have to talk about the discoverability of kind of like learning the game and understanding when Recovery and Thirsty plays the best kind of talent to use in any certain given situation. And I remember specifically really early on, I was convinced that Thirsty was just like the talent to run, right? Like, I'm going to be using Thirsty. Oh, Wanchito finds a nice kill early on. So nice for Wanchito's. Twilight Fangirl going to be doing the same as well. But yeah, like really early on in Spellbreak for me, I was convinced. I was like, okay, these pots take forever. There's no way I play a game and don't run Thirsty. And then I found Recovery, right? And you kind of develop that progression of just learning and testing and trial phasing the entire game, where you see that like on some of these classes, having that ability to quickly dive out. Kamsky already in the kill feed. Do I even bring it up? I'll just let the viewers watch the kill feed for me.
Yeah, just keep your eye on the top left.
you create a situation where some of these really heads-up classes that are going to be in your face, Stone Shaper, Pyro, those classes get an insane amount of value out of recovery. But some of these like kind of dip and dodgy, like rogue-like classes, you know, the Frostborn and Toxicologist specifically, they get a lot of value out of Thirsty. And that's kind of like that learning curve paired with like a little bit of preference, right? Preferential talent picks that really kind of shapes out that spirit talent specifically.
Yeah, definitely. You're just seeing how even in like the general circumstance, there still is a little bit of situational awareness being played with your talent selection and with your class as well. So like you may want to run recovery like you're saying on the more rushdown classes like Stone Shaper and Pyromancer where you're expecting to get hit a lot more. And then if you're Kamsky, you just run Thirsty all the time because you're never going to get hit and the exiles you're going to get are just so fast.
Yeah, Cyvex goes down to Ouchers. King Kaizen finds an exile in the kill feed as well. As Twilight Fangirl sent on a formidable 1, and look at this talent setup. What are you thinking about that?
His talent setup, the dexterity, maybe you could find a higher value talent. In my personal opinion, I think dexterity is kind of middle of the road, but King Icewind's going to find himself in the road if he's not careful right here. The stun coming out, but he is running Harmony, and Marcus is going to make short work of this. Beautiful stuff with the scavenging as well, getting the full value out of that. Good stuff.
King Icewind? King Kaizen? It's like King, the Spider-Man. It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Twins. Yeah, I'm pointing at you, you're pointing at me.
Yo, Novin and Aquari finding a kill in the kill feed. That's actually going to be Darkbreakers going down. Unfortunately, Darkbreakers goes out a little bit early on this one. But Darkbreakers, you know, NA player, he's got some games ahead of him. Elpadog going to find a kill as well. And now Kamsky's actually playing this one a little bit slower. He's not F4 Halcyon. Maybe, you know, he just wants to put up some consistent gameplay, finds that Dragonfire Tornado. You can see that combination of different spells. And right now, offhanding the fire, he probably hasn't found a good frost yet. He uses the Vanishing Mist to just kind of like project himself toward the top now. So he's going to be going ahead and spraying at this player. And the hardest thing about pushing high ground is just like having to burn that mana bar, having to burn that rune charge just to get there. You see him actually using that Vanishing Mist, the re-vanish there, the re-stealth off of it to such great effectiveness. Just trying to find one of these mid-air fireballs. It's not really going to connect, but hey, look, he's taken over position. He finds himself a nice little amulet upgrade, and Kamsky's just kind of controlling this high ground. It's such an important thing to talk about because this game is so fast-paced. There's so much open positioning and open kind of like plays that you can make. But there is also strategy in what these players do. If you're not just hard pushing a fight, maybe you are playing positioning, you are playing an advantage position, and that's kind of something that we just saw there from Kamsky.
Yeah, and speaking of the strategy coming out, we do know that Outbreak actually comes out at level 3 on the Toxicologist, and because of that, you're not going to get as much value from Shadow Step early on. We'll see if he gets any value from the Stone. He's just playing whatever he wants, but he gets it stolen from our zone, and that was Marcus, aka Apostle, getting out quite early. Thankfully, Kamsky's able to steal all that loot, and he definitely has the movement and the awareness to not get hit by that frost, I would imagine. But in terms of what he's trying to play here, maybe at this point he wants to find that Shadow Step, because before you get Outbreak, it's not really as valuable as having a dash at all. And seeing something at the top of my screen, a little bit of dance. There we go, thanks for the donation. And we're going to be hopping around. NL Kale, I'm not sure if he's in our tournament, but Carrie Caitlin's going to find himself in Gritfeld, and let's see how long they last.
Yeah, this is another 2-2-2 setup, actually going to be using Thirsty, which I find really interesting to use on a Tempest class. We'll have to see if that has a bit of a payoff. If you can use some of that mobility and get around a corner, find yourself a nice little reset, that's going to be good. 2 exiles to Gigabyte's name. He's rocking that same tanky setup. He's going to be using Harmony. He's going to be, you know, unCCable, basically, and that's going to be a really strong thing to have. Now, I'm not sure if this is preference. I really can't remember what rune he was running last game, but I'm really interested at the choice of this epic flight here. I specifically really like flight on Conduit, as Conduit's kind of like the kiting long-range class. It gives you a lot of opportunity to chase, but also just to create space for yourself. You already see some of that power or potential energy damage coming out, those yellow ticks off the top of the damage, and this is just the strength of Conduit, that long range. So he can play out on the edge, and we'll see if he changes the rune, because if you're running the fire offhand, then Dash is still a great rune, but we'll see how he develops that playstyle going further. I'm just not too versed in how he decides to do it, to do that Sabbatarian here at the fort.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see him hold on to that flight rune. I'm not sure what he's saving it for. He does have the Conduit, the the overload skill definitely can just lay down a quick little sorcery and get that rune charge all the way back. So I'm not quite sure why he wouldn't burn it there to seal out the kill. Maybe he's playing just a little bit more passively than he normally would. I'm not really sure what the thinking is. But anyway, Novin is just going to hide just a little bit. Also rocking the Tempest here, but not really wanting to engage all that well. So he'll just
one thing I
camp out.
saw about his build as well is I think he only had like 2 or 3 scrolls. And that's just like one of those things, man. It doesn't affect how you play, but it directly affects like how you're received and what you can output into the game. You know what I mean? Oucher's finding another kill in the kill feed as well. A lot of these players just kind of consistently pushing themselves forward. As we are up to the, are down to the top 15 players. The last one's left alive. King Kaizen, working his way through these houses, and we're seeing a lot of 2-2-2 today. And I feel like that is a very big meta talent setup that we see, because it's all about like outplaying. It's all about using that mobility. And look at this, Aquari looking to find a snipe, not going to land that first one. And this is a 1v1v1 here that we have a little bit of a 3-peed fight here at the fort. He's looking to like kind of get sneaky there. That player jumps out inside of the face of Aquari. Aquari just trying to find some damage. The flash freeze coming out, so he's gonna be able to block a little bit himself and just play a little bit of zone, as he really leans on not necessarily hard engaging, although he does have that like tanky setup. He does have the thirsty in there as well, but he's really just kind of like playing the zone, backing up and looking for the shots. I kind of almost expected to change gears a little bit, but he doesn't have any shards right now in the belt, so he's just gonna go ahead and play this one a little bit slow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think we saw a little bit too much button mashing there in that one. He's trying to use the frost close range like that. A little bit of a daring attempt, let's say, to say the least. But anyway, Aquari's gonna find himself just fine. That blur is looking amazing. You see that? I couldn't even see the screen for a second. But anyway, Arzone is gonna have to flee away from Aquari. He's actually in the same area, and they're both Frostborn. So maybe we'll get a nice little Frostborn duel here later on. And in the kill feed, we definitely see Kamsky getting Ouchers there pretty quickly. And now Roaming Gnome finds himself just getting ignited in every single opportunity he gets. And he actually... That was Aquari that actually got the kill on the Novin there, so he is in big trouble, and Aquari's gonna take him out as well.
Double kill coming out from Aquari. He put himself ahead of the zone, was able to peel back and find a 3-peat, but now the next player looking to come in. This could be... Who were we watching? Novin, potentially? Stands on top of that ice cloud. It does get popped, so now Aquari's forced to go on his back foot. He's going to be backing up now. He does have this one big shard potion, so look at this. The chase coming out. Oh no, a Stone Shaper looking to come in for the 3-peat. Aquari just has to create some space here.
Yeah, definitely going to be using that Frost Rail to get away. Unfortunate miss. His opponent just moves at the last second. But he needs to find himself a quick little third party or something, because that Scavenger is actually going to be doing so well, and he dives right into that firewall, absolutely negating all of that regeneration that he's going to get, and it's just nothing doing here. Arzone's going to take that pretty easily.
Yeah, he didn't have any scrolls read in the thirsty, so unfortunately it was not going to be, kind of like the best situation for him to be in. But Kamsky has entered this fight. This is like the awakening. He only has 3 kills right now, so we'll have to see what he decides to do. Twilight Fangirl going to go down. Elpadog finding a kill onto no one, and all of these insanely strong players are just bringing themselves to this one position. Kamsky finds himself the epic Frost Gauntlet from Aquari. He says, hey, look, man, I saw you in the kill feed. You got a couple kills. I'm going to carry that lineage for you.
You see that little pot switch he did in the middle of jumping? Like, that's absolutely insane, actually. You have to like hit tab and drag it out, and then do all that in the small hop of time that you have in the middle of a high pressure engagement. That's actually insane. But Gigabyte's going to find himself on the losing end of this Pyromancer, as he is just getting bursted down. There's nowhere for him to go to create space. He's trying to give the illusion that he's going to go outside the zone, but it doesn't matter, because Savitarian is just going to eat him up.
Yeah, Nikhail finds an elimination as well onto Arzone, and a lot of this lobby gets cut down so very quickly. We see Kamsky, Elpadog, one of the last 2 players left remaining as well, and this is that aggressive Stone Shaper that we're seeing, the 2-2-2 runic fluency, the fervor, and this is all about just diving into the face of your enemies. You're going to see that gap close coming in now from Elpadog. Elpadog looking to put down some serious damage. He does have those flame shockwaves. They're just pushing across, potentially dotting up as well, and he is scrolled, fully educated, but it's not going to be enough to stop the damage incoming now. This is the hard chase, presumably. That might be Kamsky. If that's going to be Kamsky looking to land the shot potential, but no, that's a fireball in hand, so it might not be Kamsky. So he's going to just go ahead. Oh, look at that. Lands the mid-air fireball, and the recovery is working so well. Elpadog does have these shockwaves to put some armor back in the belt. He's going to just be kiting, but the zone is forcing his position, so there's not even a lot of room, a lot of opportunity to potentially use any of these potions as the fireball spam is coming in strong. But look at that. Elpadog looking to find a little bit of rebuttal, finding some opportunity to push some damage in his direction. And then Kamsky goes down to Savitarian in the kill feed.
Yeah, that's definitely a big surprise right there, but also surprising is how Savitarian is just killing Elpadog as well. Look at him go. Now it's a clean 1v1. He almost has full health and full shields. This is going to be absolutely in Savitarian's favor, and he waited all that time to get kills onto our top players here. Look at him in the kill feed, just three back to back to back. And now this is just easy pickings. Just hit him with the lightning and you're done. But he is finding himself a little bit of difficulty in the zone.
Wow, he was not able to clean that one up. That's so unfortunate. Nikhail finding the win off the back of that pyro, that fireball. And I gotta say, because now that I know that it was Nikhail, I'm not sure how to say it, I'm sorry. Nikhail going up against Elpadog at the edge of that storm line. They were like pushing each other in. Elpa like had him dead to rights, but Nikhail was like in grief mode. Like he was just like just giving it as good as he was getting it. You know what I mean? Like he just was not going to let it happen. And all of a sudden Savitarian it was two separate 1v1. Savitarian wins his 1v1 on Kamsky, and then he peels back, and what's the strength of Conduit at long range? Just, giving him the Emperor Palpatine hands, man.
Now I have to call this into question because I don't know if Nikhail's even a part of this event. He might have just been there to grief, actually. It was kind of a bit of a weird situation there, but Savitarian definitely part of it. Gets second place there. I'll be keeping an eye on the standings here, see if anyone turns in a nice little first place finish. But I don't see his name on our list, so it might have just been a random person finding himself in a stacked qualifier and finding a win. Look at that. Anything can happen around here.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Savitarian. And I wanted to break it down because Savitarian is actually running the exact Conduit build that I run. He's running the Focus Mana Fervor, and that is just like lightning destruction, insane burst after the lightning strike. You get that 100% mana for 4 seconds, and then you can just power surge your way to a free elimination half the time. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to completely clean it up and to get that win, but it was so very close. I mean, maybe a slight bit better tracking, or maybe one more connected fireball would have been the difference. But I mean, either way, we're already starting to see a lot of consistency coming out from some of these players. Gigabyte making it pretty far each game that we've seen. The 2 games that we've seen had a few exiles, I want to say, maybe 2 in this one. And obviously Kamsky, Elpadog, definitely going to be those 3 players that I've been able to kind of, off the back of my mind, just recognize that they're already having good performances. They're going to be sitting pretty high up in the standings.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Elpadog and Kamsky always making those top finishes. Savitarian, not someone who we saw last time, but that's all right. I don't think Nikhail was actually part of our production, so he's just going to be sitting on cloud 9 saying, "Hey, I just won that lobby with Kamsky and Elpa and all these different names that I recognize, so I must be pretty good." But anyway, Savitarian there, I want to kind of bring him into the picture again. He really was like. He was kind of playing the grief game a little bit, taking out arguably our top 3 contestants there back to back to back. And yeah, like you said, maybe if he just gets a little bit more savvy on this mechanics, maybe a little bit of better tracking in the practice tool, maybe a little bit of Kovacs training, he will seal that out pretty easily, because his opponent was sitting pretty much at 10 HP for the latter, I would say, full second of that fight. It was actually it's actually really close.
Yeah, I'm really curious how the actual fight went between him and Kamsky, because you can see that the zone was kind of like pulling inward already. It was forcing that storm line when we had Elpa going up against Nikhail. But on the other end, they were kind of like more in a static position, right? Like the zone's not moving a whole lot. They're kind of already in. And Conduit doesn't get a lot of strength when it's super close, unless you can land a really strong lightning strike. So I have to assume that like Kamsky was maybe gap closing, maybe he got shocked. It's just so hard. I'm just like theorizing what could have happened. But he was able to finish Kamsky in a situation where I want to say that maybe the Conduit is on a slight disadvantage, not much, but maybe a slight disadvantage going up against Kamsky if he's able to get in the face of him. He doesn't have Harmony, so the flash freeze potential is there, and he's got the charges of Shadow Step maybe he had in his inventory. So it's hard to say exactly how that fight broke down, but hey, either way, takes him down, and then he becomes the pinch player looking out at the edge at Nikhail, and Elpadog finds himself a second elimination. So that's great for him. Unfortunately, again, like we said, he wasn't able to completely finish that up, but we're going to be jumping into game number 3 momentarily. And this is going to be, again, for anybody watching, this is going to be our last game going on the NAE server. Then we're going to be hopping over to the EU side.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a little bit jarring for those West players who have to travel across a country and then the Atlantic Ocean to get to the EU server. But either way, I think they'll be okay. We seem to be actually in a weird sort of situation here where the NA players actually sometimes do better on their off region than they do on their home region. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. But while we're doing that, we're going to hop into some action. And we're already getting started off pretty hot as Darkbreakers finds himself a nice little kill early on, as well as, who is this man? I can't read it in the sky there. Baruto? Interesting name there.
Burrito? Is it Juicy Burrito?
Oh, actually, yeah, Juicy Burrito. You're right, you're right.
Oh, look at that. Kamsky already finding a kill. Twilight Fangirl, and look at this. Savitarian, got to give him a little bit of love. He does have that one scroll read up into the focus mana. And he's just looking at Chase here, has the toxic offhand. Ooh, got to be careful.
Oh,
we
got
third party
another.
coming in. Is he going to be able to finish this one up? But walks into the face.
Oh,
no.
tornado.
He pulls himself, or he gets pulled in as he was already levitating with the mana bar. Novin finds him. That fire tornado was just kind of taking the damage there. And Novin going to be just kind of floating around as well. He does have the Tempest 222 build, pretty standard Tempest build, I would say, kind of DPS focused, mobility focused. He's going to go ahead and look for a little bit of a reset here. He does have that blue belt, that rare belt in his inventory, but he does have to put some shards, invest in this a little bit.
Yeah, did you notice how well he was moving around? Each little bit of cover right there, and never mind, we get into a third-party situation in that same little area, and Glitz is going to find himself in the middle of a fight with a nice little stone user. I wonder who this is. This might actually be Kamsky jumping off or judging off of the skin, but it also might be Darkbreakers. So we'll have to see what it is in the kill feed whenever we finally get a winner out of this 1v1. That stone is coming dangerously close. Look at that hitbox.
Oh gosh, look at that. Alpha Dog is gonna finish it up. I was actually gonna say, man, he kind of like was putting the gas on when he was at a health disadvantage, so I respect it. But look at the positioning coming out from Elpadog. Elpadog pulls him out into the open, and he just takes the bait beautifully, right? Like Elpadog says, "Okay, hey, look, I'm down to fight you, but I want to fight you over here." You know what I mean? Like I'm going to fight you over here and take advantage of it. We've seen already a handful of kills from our contestants as these competitive players have already been putting up some of that work early in the game. Now Casper in a little isolated 1v1 here on the northwest side of the map. He's going to be looking to find some conduit damage, but you know, that runic fluency, lots of charges the dash. He has the potential to just full on engage with the fireballs, and you see some of that now. He's going to go ahead and back up the flash freeze, looking to block a little bit of damage. That shot not going to connect. You see the alacrity coming out, and now he's on that full chase, just trying to find the elimination. Look at that 1, 2, 3, easy elimination. Our zone goes down.
Yeah, and you saw him actually use the advantage that he knew that he had from the height. That flash freeze sorcery coming out actually doesn't. Okay, Kamsky's just going to be walking into the wall here. But anyway, the flash freeze doesn't protect from above and below. It would normally block the lightning and the fire, but it ends up not being quite angled enough, as Juan Cheeto doesn't know he doesn't have Firefly just
yet.
Have
Firefly yet.
He does now, but it was just a step away.
Got it now, and look at that. The Flight Gamer is going to be going on. Will he land the snipe? Not going to connect with that Ice Lance, but look at this. Juan Cheeto has the legendary dash, and on a Pyro, is there more that you can ask for? Looking to connect with that shot again. That runic fluency potential on Flight is just too much to be able to catch up with. King Kaizen actually does go down in the kill feed. I don't know. Can you hear that in my cell phone? Leave me alone. I'm trying to cast.
Yeah, it's saying, hey, time to watch some plays today because we got a beautiful little event here. Twilight Fangirl, another one that I recognize from beta here, normally does pretty well. Already has an exile to his name, and Darkbreaker's taking out Novin there pretty quickly. Gigabyte onto King Kaizen. Very, very nicely done. And now we're just going to be floating. Just going to be floating around, get the atmospherics in. Misses that frost, unfortunate for him, and gets blocked off as well. Let's see if he can follow up with a little bit of pyro gameplay. That common is not going to do him very well in the damage department, though. The focus mantle will.
OSK, I have a question for you. Are you are you Team Edward or are you Team Jacob?
Oh man,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You know what? In terms of the fact that I like beefy boys, I'm gonna get Jacob this time.
Oh, nice. Okay, we're sticking with the beefy boys, the woof boys, the wolf blood gamers.
Man, Heck yeah, I love dogs. Dogs are great.
Yeah, there you go. So this castle fight is looking a little extended. Is there, man? This is such a high up castle too. They're just having to spend a lot of the levitation just to try to find some kind of an opportunity to find some damage. You do see a little bit of that flight tech where you can kind of launch yourself up, but still, just so few shots have been landed. They're just playing real ratty, real snake-like, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we're just wrapping around this little tower here. I don't think I've seen so many angles from a tower in my life. But Twilight Fangirl's just showing us all of it. She's just trying to find his opponent here. His opponent doing a very good job of his structure knowledge here, knowing when and where he can dip in to sort of break the line of sight. Twilight Fangirl realizing that he's wasting so much time with this little engagement here. Never mind. He just wanted the mana vault, and he's going right back in. We like the tower. We want to spend as much time as possible.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I feel like this is one of those situations. Oh, man, the potential damage coming out if that would have turned into a DF NATO on accident. Twilight Fangirl looking to follow up with some of this damage from his side as well. I was going to say, one thing I got to say is this could easily be one of those situations where you have to have the kind of like wherewithal to just say, you know what, this fight is not worth my time. Like, yeah, is the player around? Is the player annoying?
Lost.
Yeah, sure, but I might just need to leave this. This is kind of a waste of time. You're not getting scrolls. Look at this, 1 recovery scroll, 1 spirit scroll in total, and this whole game is just being spent chasing this one potential kill that may not even have a great payoff.
I'll tell you what though, that damage score is going to be racking up, and now he gets third party. Now we're really going to see if it's worth it, as I would imagine he picked up the Wind Gauntlet to sort of suck his opponent into the tornado, to sort of drag him out of that cover he keeps dipping out of, but I don't think that's going to be worth it. Now he does land a nice little bit of damage onto his opponent there, but the lightning damage he's eating up is making this absolutely brutal. My
expert analysis is going to say that this turned into a self-grief, unfortunately. So many players potentially rotating in. That's going to be Kamsky finding the elimination with that offhand lightning gauntlet. Actually, no, Kamsky's playing Conduit right now. Look at that.
Yeah, he's just saying I'm good with every class, and the tracking is on point.
Carry Caitlyn gets, yeah, oh my god. Oh god, Kamsky, why? Just why? Finds the elimination. He's going to be rocking that 2-2-2. We're still using Thirsty nonetheless. We're going to be going ahead and looking around the map. We spent a lot of time at this castle. I'm done with the castle. We're going to be moving on. We do find Wanchido. We're on another one.
We're on another little tower here. Now he does dip back into the flash freeze and gets himself frozen, but nothing doing that firewall protecting him quite well. Now, I want to point out, I think Kamsky's just trying to put on a clinic with his aim here, because he's saying, this is actually Kovacs training for myself. I'm just getting better at aiming in general, and I'm just gonna style in every one of this lobby, apparently.
Some of this damage coming out from Wanchido, but the flash freeze, the Query flash freeze turns it around. No!
Hey, I'm excited about that.
Wanchido, I just feel like he had it, man. He had it, and unfortunately, a little bit of an outplay coming out from a Query. He finds the kill, and Roaming Gnome is doing just that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, my goodness. What a turnaround, though. He knows that he has the Tundra immunity from getting that flash freeze, so even if he gets hit, he has that immunity from damage, and he can just turn it right back around. So
Jasper getting taken out by the Darkbreakers, and hey, listen, we talk about consistency. One thing we definitely got to let you guys know about is Gigabyte, another 4 Exile game, finds his way into the top 10 yet again. Gigabyte is putting up a consistent performance.
Look at that Exile count on Darkbreakers. He's at 7. This might be a potential double-digit pop from Darkbreakers on the Stone Shaper, no less, with Stone Toxic. I want to kind of bring you to this build here because Toxic has that corrosion on it, the extra ticks of armor. If you can just melt the armor off passively and then get a 50-plus damage stone, can you imagine the DPS on that? That's amazing.
The potential to, like, 1 to 3 shot someone depending on where their health is absolutely insane. Kamsky finds another Exile on the wrong house on L. Finds an Exile, and he's scrolled up, man. This guy's going to be so strong, and that's another thing to think about when it comes to the play style and the way that these players want to play. The more Exiles you're getting, the stronger your loot gets, the more scrolls you have the potential to grab off of your enemies. And you see someone like Drasticon here, who's probably just been kind of looting. He has no Exiles to his name. He's actually very knowledgeable, nice and read up as well. Only going to be missing that one Thirsty talent, or that one Thirsty scrolls. Kamsky finds another one. The Roaming Gnome is going to go down. Kamsky, Gigabyte, Darkbreakers, it has been their game right now.
Yeah, and I want to point out Drasticon actually showed up earlier in one of our qualifiers, I believe qualifier 2 or 3, And it's good to see him back out here because I think he had kind of a lackluster showing there. It wasn't really showing what he's really capable of. Maybe he just had a bad day or something. But I'm glad that he was able to get a second chance in this qualifier here, as we only took him because we had the room. So I'm really, really happy about that. But anyway, Alpha Dog is going to be styling on this man, and Darkbreaker's
man.
Oh no, that ends
That's
his
actually
reign,
only
though.
his second exile. So, but hey, listen, Darkbreaker's finding himself in 7th place, had what, 7, 8 exiles to this game, and this is going to be the third party coming in. Alpha Dog finds himself a little bit on the back foot, but he's going to have to find a way to turn this around. A full-on engagement might come out from a build like this, because you cannot play this Stone Shaper Fire offhand at range. A query going down to Oucher's Oucher, so Oucher's is going to put a little bit of that pain in, that little bit of, find him a little bit of a boo-boo onto the query.
Oh my goodness,
that
Oucher. Say that again.
Oh man. Oh no. A little bit of a boo-boo. A little bit of a boo-boo. But Alpha Dog taking so much return damage, he has to... Listen. At some point, you're going to have to completely full send, because finding an opportunity to reset is so very low. But look at that. He finds the opportunity to get one small shard in, and I can't believe that I'm even saying that, with the opportunity for that player to close out and really push on him. Alpha Dog is going on the offensive. The shadow steps back and forth. That little bit of a fight reset that they're looking to find. It's dangerous. The potential damage coming out from the meteor.
Let me tell you what that was. Let me tell you what that was. That was a pure standoff between Kamsky and Alpha Dog, and you're seeing the caliber of players. It's a completely different caliber. So I always like to point out that good players know how to lengthen fights and not get bursted down. Oh my god! That's why you don't run flight in these lobbies.
Oh no, the disrespect. Oh god. The show's over. Let's wrap it up.
That was disgusting.
Oh no, Kamsky. 6 exiles, finds so much damage on the Gigabyte. Drasticon still just having himself a slower game, but listen, you can't run from Kamsky. So at some point, you're going to have to fight an Ouchers. Hey, listen, he's having a formidable game, right? He's chilling, hanging out on the edge of zone. He giving us a little bit of a shake here.
Oh,
but now the full-on engage finds the damage. That's the strength of Focus Mana. A full red, full knowledgeable Focus Mana. A little bit of meteors coming out, as well as Ouchers looking to potentially push here.
Oh my goodness, man! I just want to point out that Kamsky doesn't really have a well-defined playstyle right now. He's just doing point mouse on target, click mouse button. Like, that's literally his entire playstyle right now. It's actually insane. But Oucher's finding himself on a good piece of high ground right here. Gonna opt for a third-party situation here, and he does have the double boulder stacked up. That's an easy 50 damage per if he can land it. If he can just land it cleanly, is what I was trying to say. But he finds himself on the outside part of the zone.
Yeah, so much damage out on the edge. He has to find this elimination. Potentially, Drasticon is going to take out Ouchers. So finding himself a 4th place finish. And now the 1v1v1 is Drasticon is going to be very low. His first exile to his name, but he's sticking in here. He's finding those placement points. And the 1v1 here on the edge between Kamsky and Alpha Dog, 2 of our players that have made it to the end game every single time. Alpha Dog has the high ground.
I just want to point out, Alpha Dog's the only one that I've seen that's actually giving Kamsky a hard time. So I just want to say that really tells you just how great of a player Alpha Dog is, even though he doesn't have the highest exile count right now. Maybe he's just not finding as many targets, but he is giving Kamsky a run for his money with the build that he's going for, and also the strategy, being able to cut off the line of sight so reliably. So good stuff to him. Definitely a good showing.
Yeah, I love the usage of the meteor, but look at this, a full engagement coming up from Drasticon. That's going to be Alpha going down, so 1v1, Drasticon versus Kamsky. He's very low. The fireball's coming out from the direction of Kamsky, but it does look like Drasticon has this natural high ground, but the conduit beams looking to come out. The lightning bolts, will they connect? Is Drasticon being forced to push in? But no, the fireball comes out from Kamsky, and he takes game number 3.
I just want to point out, if we can get a quick replay of that, I do believe that Kamsky fired that fireball before Drasticon even went for the Firefly. I don't know if that was planned. I don't know what the thinking process is. Maybe he saw the conflagration and realized immediately that, hey, this is actually a pyromancer. But you're going to see this here, not right here on the firewall. Look at the timing. Look at that. That's hitting in front of him. He had to have been leading that shot. He had to have known that him going into the firewall was going to cause him either to go forward just a little bit, or maybe the slower part of that Firefly. I just can't wrap my head around whether that was luck or if he actually planned that. But
Hey
I'm
man,
gonna opt in on the planned part of that.
either way, the crazy part about it is like, say he doesn't land that shot, he's just going to swap to lightning bolts either way. Like
Yeah.
the player is super low, you get the tag, you get the knowledge of their health, and he had the open space. So Drasticon had that like little bit of a health advantage, or a height advantage rather, but that just doesn't matter in like an open enough space with a conduit player or a lightning gauntlet at all. I mean, it was just going to be a tough one to win from that particular health standpoint.
Yeah, you make a great point there. That little gap in between on the terrain there wasn't very favorable for a Stone Shaper. So that's one gauntlet already out of the picture. And with that wide open area, despite the little ravine in the middle, Lightning just has so much potential to just rain down a ton of damage. It's actually insane. The only way you can break line of sight right there is if you get enough high ground to where the actual lip of the tower is going to break off that line of sight, or if you go into the ravine, at which point Campsy's just going to rain down fire on you. So that's just an unfavorable situation.
There's a couple of things that I have in my mind, because we do talk about Stone Shaper, and we've seen a couple of players running it. We have Drasticon and Elpadog specifically that are going to be running that Stone Shaper, some of the ones that made it toward the end of that last game.
Darkbreakers too.
And yeah, Darkbreakers running it as well. Yeah, for sure. A couple of those situations that I'm seeing is, and one thing that I feel like I can deduct from the play style of Stone Shaper is, you find yourself in a situation where kind of like poking and playing range, depending on your health, like you have to make your decision like on where your health is. So like Drasticon toward the end there, they had a lot of space between them. He was low health. He had 2 dashes, and he really like he needed to like get in. You know what I mean? Like he has the raw gauntlet. It's like you need to like get in, especially versus a conduit player. So kind of like playing the range and just like poking with fireballs, to me, I feel like it's a little bit of a misplay, just because you need to close that gap and like kind of like snuff out the range of the conduit player. The irony about that is that specific conduit build, running that fire offhand, covers that range disadvantage so well. You know, if a player does get in, you can just swap and start using the fireballs as well. So on the last fight, or one of the fights that we saw from Elpadog, he was like really back against the wall. He had gotten third partied while he was looting up some of the loot that he got off of one of his exiles. And the same thing happened. Like Elpadog had to just like flip the switch and go full on engage mode. He backed up, he popped a small shard, and then he just kind of like turned on the gas and was able to completely wipe out the player that he was fighting against.
Definitely. And that's the difference between good players and great players. They know exactly when to pump the gas and know exactly when to get the heck out of dodge. But that's going to do it for our first 3 games. Very, very exciting stuff coming out from Darkbreakers, from Elpadog, from Kamsky, Gigabyte, and all the rest. Now, we will go ahead and go to a halftime break. We will be switching over to EU servers once we get back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back for you soon. I think we're going to be looking for a little bit of some upsets here going towards the EU side of things. I still expect the NA guys that have been leading to still have that advantage coming in, but we've seen kind of a weird little transition here. There's some NA players that actually play better in tournament on their off-region server. So I'm looking to see who that's going to be, or if we're just going to see consistency for some of our top players, they'll just dominate both regions. Who knows? But we're going to find out here shortly.
Yeah, for sure. Thinking about consistency, or speaking about consistency, Gigabyte, someone we have seen in the end game of pretty much every single game, has gotten like at least 2 to 4 exiles. I want to say, I'm pretty sure I've seen him on 2 games where he had at least 4 exiles. Yeah. But we're going to be jumping into the game right now. This one, game number 4, we're going to be moving into EU. So we're going to see who we can find, because we're going to be jumping in a second, I suppose. But yeah, so Gigabyte, I mean, playing Conduit, I believe he's, Conduit Fire offhand. It's that kind of standard build. And we see a little bit of runic fluency on Conduit. Sometimes we see the focus mana. Sometimes we see Spellslinger, something like Tfal likes to pull out. So Conduit has a bunch of different play styles to it. But, I mean, ultimately, Lightning Bolts is just so strong. It's one of those things that... Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
potential energy is a skill that exists right now. But anyway, that's interesting that you bring up the runic fluency side, because you're seeing just how heavily weighted all of this movement needs to be weighted in this sort of environment. It's great to have these escape tools if you so need it. That's definitely a bot. He flicked off of him at the last second. Not sure what that was about. But anyway, Savitarian going to be looting up, and Darkbreakers already in the kill feed, getting a beautiful little exile as well. Actually, Darkbreakers is in there twice with his wind shears and then Elpadog in there as well. So double kill early on from Darkbreakers, getting that exile and damage score up.
Yeah, and I mean, just speaking on the talent setups, this has been... Oh, Darkbreaker's taking a fight early on right here at the fort. Actually going to be taking a lot of damage. He's going to be forced to use that flight rune. There's a little bit of lightning bolts coming from that enemy players. Gigabyte finds a kill in the kill feed as well. Darkbreaker's just going to go ahead and find a reset here. Wants to create some of that space so he can stay alive, because that was a dangerous position to be in. I mean, definitely got a lot of return damage. But man, I have seen so much runic fluency, so much fervor today. Definitely going to be one of those stronger builds, those stronger talent setups. So do you have Elpadog? Why is this man so low? He must have just had an early engagement, hasn't found any pots yet. Arzone finding elimination as well. Kamsky, is this a Kamsky running right now? Is he on the back foot just trying to create a little bit of space for himself?
Yeah, you'll notice that his pants are actually falling because he doesn't have a belt, and that's the biggest ticket that we have to take away from this fight right here. He doesn't want to get into any unlucky early exiles. That's really the most dangerous part of the game. When you don't have all the gear that you want, you're not in that comfortable situation you want to be in. Thankfully, he realizes that he did step in the zone. He does have the Firefly, so extra little bit of movement. I mean, the Spring Step actually is one of the better runes in the game right now, as the cooldown on that rune is so low that you can just use it to kite literally all day. It's actually faster than Dash at similar rarities until you get to the epic or legendary rarity. So he'll be using it to kite away pretty easily, and that Firefly is going to help him out as well. So I think he'll get out just fine. He's going to find himself a belt. He's going to get right back into it. Keep an eye on the kill feed though for anything surprising that might happen.
Yeah, not surprising though is going to be Gigabyte finding another exiles. He's just consistently finding exiles, consistently making his way toward, the end game in every single game. Darkbreaker is doing the same, and we see again talking about Drasticon a little bit here, but Arzone going to be looking to finish up this fight here. Does take a little bit of that shock to CC, but he's going to go on ahead and finish this one, right? Arzone,
maybe.
Arzone,
a little more. There we go.
All right, Arzone finds this player. Thank you. I'm so glad you caught that.
I'm sorry. I muffled you just a little bit. I didn't mean to, but that was beautiful. Anyway,
Query getting a kill, finds the exile as well. I mean, listen, he was playing Conduit. I think about Emperor Palpatine pretty much anytime I see this. I'm so sorry. I'm a nerd, but I mean, let's be honest.
Dude, you got it.
I feel like it's a 1-to-1 comparison. And look at this. King Kaizen has that same talent setup: runic fluency, fervor, and recovery.
Oh, easy.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, this is a kill right here. Oh, the flight gamer will he land the shot? King Kaizen, no, he doesn't connect with it, but he's going to be on the chase here. He again has the runic fluency, so if he can get some of these charges, just looking to bully this player out in the open. The pyro. I'm surprised he's not just full engaging him here, actually.
Yeah, he definitely has the cooldown advantage, and this is something that Kaizen needs to realize right here. Sure, he's not hitting his shots, but in terms of resources, he definitely has the advantage. That dash that he has is going to be cooling down in about 5 seconds, and that flight, even at legendary rarity, is 10 seconds. So if he recognizes that, he's actually able to dance around this man, and the only thing keeping him from doing that, I would say, is if he's a Tempest. I haven't kept track to see if he is using the wind jump. He definitely has the wind in one of his hands, but he's just getting out aimed right now, outplayed. This is kind of sad.
No one grabs an elimination. But yeah, King Kaizen is completely on the back foot. Not really the way that I expected this fight to go at all. I'm going to be completely honest. I really thought that he was just going to be able to kind of push this one, finish it in a kind of quick fashion. But King Kaizen backing up, maybe reassessing the fight, just looking for a little bit of information. So we might go ahead and look around the map. 25 players left alive in total. And presumably there's some action going on as Novan just kind of surveying the field. Savitarian gets a kill onto no one, and Casper getting caught in this lightning strike. He's going to take that shock. He does not have Harmony, so that runic fluency fervor build not going to keep you safe from the CC. But Casper just going to back up. He's got his little spring steps. He's got plenty of mobility, and he is very scrolled up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost fully educated. Needs to get a little bit more studying done on that runic fluency so he can get the cooldown a little bit faster with that 15%. Now, I will say, I'm not an all-seeing eye. I am not omniscient. I don't know things that I don't know. But I would imagine no one in the kill feed, no one TV, getting that exile and then immediately getting exiled after by Savitarian, possibly a third-party situation. I won't make any assumptions, but I'll just make an educated guess That's probably what happened. Saboteur
Wow,
big
you're
enough
so
for free
clairvoyant with that one.
Oh, thank you so
What
much.
amazing analysis coming from OSK. Yeah,
Thank you,
Kamsky, Kamsky finds the kill onto our zone, and look at this, Twilight Fangirl back against the wall. Kamsky comes in, gets a second, and look at that. That is going to be his second exile. So now, Kamsky, let's go ahead and talk about the build a little bit. That Runic Fluency 222 standard build that we see coming out, and Darkbreaker's finding an elimination onto a Query, but he's going to be rocking the Pyro and Stone offhand. So playing that ping build, you know, that's more or less what I feel like it is.
Yeah, until the day that we get full-on land tournaments, Proletariat, please, then we can finally see 6 full games, possibly more, of just optimal builds for everybody on 0 ping. That would be a fantastic little dream that I have stored up for myself. But anyway, Novin's going to find himself in a bit of a sticky situation. It looks like somebody exiled themselves, Fractured or potential Zone. I would imagine it's more Fractured than anything, as the Zone doesn't really do anything at this point. But Novin's going to be chasing this man down. Has the Spring Step, so he definitely can close up the distance. And now the third party is going to be swooping in. This might be dangerous, as half his armor is already gone. And there it is. He actually gets
TR space goes down, and the epic Spring Step, we were talking about it already. Spring Step has such an amazing cooldown, so short. Look at that, getting caught up a little bit. Is Novin just trying to create a little bit of space for himself? Now that space has been created, the big pot is being used, the shards are being used. He has 2 eliminations, so kind of just taking it slow now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, but he gets surprised so quickly, and I'm surprised as well, as he has to drop down.
Coming in.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the more dangerous things in the entire game, is if you can't see them and they have that outbreak, that's actually devastating. That's an easy 70 to 80 damage that you can land on somebody. But looks like he had his ears open there for that one little instance, as he will go ahead and reset and get all of his armor back, really. And now it's just a full-on 1v1 again with the full health on both sides. And now let's see who comes out on top. But it looks like Novin's going to keep the high ground and stay on top as he kites out of there damage free.
Yeah, the disengage, maybe not a terrible choice there. And, you know, when you're running Tempest with the fire offhand, you have to be able to quickly read if that is going to be a Toxicologist or a Toxic Gauntlet nearby, because you don't want to accidentally DF NATO yourself. I have done it. I'm sure other Tempest players have at least done it once, where you accidentally set up that DF NATO on yourself. Casper has no exiles right now, but is running that 2-2-2 setup, a very solid build overall. Looks like he's going to have this Cathedral situation kind of on lockdown.
Yeah, we might have had a little bit of a later iteration of the mid-game lull, as I'm not seeing any exiles being sealed out here in the latter part. I would imagine that's a little mistake on one Cheeto. He might have just cut that off just a little bit early, and now he's just getting rained down on. South America doesn't like EU servers, and now he's just getting rained down. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, Drasticon finds a kill simultaneously. Elpadog, a Marcus, aka Apostle, taking out Sputnik. Sputnik, one of our 3 EU players here, getting taken down by Marcus. So Marcus going to find himself a little bit of a better situation, and there you go, Elpadog taking out Juicy Burrito as well. That's going to be 3. So Elpa kind of keeping it strong, and you can see some of these players swapping over to Pyro to play that ping situation. So Pyro going to be coming out in full storm here, maybe a little bit of Stone Shaper. Kamsky on the chase, has no shards. This is going to be a big elimination, a tough fight potentially to have. That's Gigabyte. We saw him using that Spring Step.
Oh my!
Control, and Gigabyte goes down. Kamsky going to land that perfect Ice Lance.
Let me tell you something, Crashy. If a giant Ice Lance lands inside your mouth going out the back of your head, is that good for your health? Good for your health?
No.
No? Professional opinion?
Professional opinion. That is my utmost analyst, big boomer brain coming out in full force.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's not very good for your health, and in fact, it'll get you exiled in this game. But anyway,
speaking of getting exiled, Drasticon might be looking to do just that, or actually, you know, impose an exile. And look at this, he's in that similar position right here out at like Whitgrave, I believe is the area. And look at that, Drasticon finds the exile. And is this Kamsky right behind him? I feel like they're holding hands right now. They're so close to each other. It's
the same terrain, and there's a nice little target right here for Drasticon. Let's see if he makes anything of it. And there's a free little fireball there with the ignite damage as well. Extra little 8 damage for him there. But now their health and armor are about equal. he's going to go ahead and opt to pot up. He is running the thirsty, so he'll be able to do it a little bit faster than what normally you would be able to. And now it's just a little trade of fireballs. Let's see if he can make anything of it.
Gets the exile onto Marcus, aka Apostle, as 6 players left alive. Again, this game, this qualifier has been the tale of the 222 Runic Fluency Fervor builds. I mean, I feel like I've seen almost everyone running it. Do you have a couple exceptions coming out with the Harmony Scav, or kind of a situation we saw? Gigabyte, I believe, is running that on the Conduit. Now Drasticon's going to get control of this high ground castle. He's using some of these shards. He wants to get this reset, and you have to imagine that he's going to be facing off against Kamsky here very soon.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And he's realizing right there that the tower not going to be the best place for his stone gauntlet. So maybe he'll opt to just rely on the pyro or the fire gauntlet. My mistake as well. But anyway, Novin's going to hop right in. The Tempest Gamer is going to really like these tower situations, as there's tons of verticality in this build. Kamsky's going to seal out the kill on the Casper, and now here's another target for him, and he's just not missing, man.
Oh my goodness, Novin jumping into the damage, like jumping into the fight, looking for a 3P, but Kamsky does not care. Finds the kill in such an easy fashion. Kamsky showing off the dominance of his playstyle here on EU with 7 exiles currently.
Yeah, he says, it doesn't matter where in the world I am, it's still going to be effective, and you're still going down, as now I'll just get my shields for free, and you're not going to interrupt me because I am a scary man, and you are all scared of me at this point.
Yeah, only 4 players, 3 remaining for Kamsky. I'm sure he's going to be looking to finish this one. And if this is another win for... Okay, first of all, I feel like we can confidently say that Kamsky has probably qualified through this one. Most likely going to be holding that first place position with a couple of wins under his belt, looking to find a third. Is Kamsky... So he gets a little bit of that scroll tech coming in, trying to get that read off, but now playing on the low ground, looking for this engagement, trading damage back and forth. He is on the pyro, looks for a snipe. Is he going to connect? Not going to connect with that Ice Lance, so now taking it slow.
Yeah, now he's realizing the mistake of his missed opportunity here and needs to sort of rotate out, and that's exactly what he's doing. Look at how well he's moving. Oh my goodness!
Elfa Dog goes down at the hands of his teammate, but Kamsky, the 1v1v1, looking to get into this situation. Will he make it a 10-kill finish? Now on the chase. This looks like it's going to be Drasticon just dancing around here. I believe that's Drasticon just trying to read that patchwork skin. Kamsky has control of the high ground. The fireballs are coming down. He is going to be on this pyro class this game. Finds one. That's Wolf Narok going down. I believe that might be a lobby filler, a lobby player. And now 1v1. Drasticon going up against Kamsky. Kamsky has complete air control, air dominance. The damage is coming out from Kamsky. That dot, you do see that. Oh, look at that. The flash freeze coming out. Looking to block a little bit of damage. And Kamsky does take some as well. But he has the high ground control. And this is all going to be about positioning and looking to land the perfect shot.
Oh, absolutely. And you're seeing him trade fireball for fireball there. There was one that actually connected midair for him. He doesn't have any shields left, so all that is going to be recovery responsibility right here. He'll need to cover him for that extra little bit of health. He thinks he sees him definitely on that tower, and he did, just not enough range on the combust there. But he's doing such a great job of hiding right there and getting the reset off. Now he has all of this extra health for recovery to do work, and now it's just a little bit of aim training as he finds himself on the high ground. Just needs to find out where he's hiding, and look at that, his opponent has full armor.
Using a little bit of sorcery canceling just to control his momentum, his movement, and Kamsky has been playing the high ground so very well, using that runic fluency, and it's going to come down to the last little bit of damage as Drasticon goes down, but finding himself a nice second place finish. So Drasticon, he's playing a little bit more consistently as well, playing the EU, finds his way to the end, but Kamsky is dominant, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to like feed the ego too much, but it's one of those situations where we're looking at the best player in the game. You know what I mean? Like, we are looking at one of the most dominant players in the game. I want to just give him, I want to don the title on him. Not to say that there's not some really great competition out there, but he's so capable and so knowledgeable. And, you know, I'm even like watching the broadcast back on the side monitor. I'm getting a secondary view. There are situations where he makes like these micro decisions, and it's the difference between using a rune charge right before you get the second rune charge and not, that gives him that added mobility to consistently have control of the top of that house, to consistently be positioning in a way that is going to land him damage for sure.
Yeah, not only that, but in that split second, he used that sorcery hover on the on the frost there to sort of judge whether or not Drasticon was going to time his falling off of the spring step, but he uses it to cancel his momentum and then get a second spring step out of it. We are going to get into game 5 literally right now as we finally got the queue going, and now we can see some more high octane action. Sorry for the delay, guys, but the action is back. Let's get right into it as we see Gigabyte just looting up and Juicy Burrito finding himself in exile already.
Drasticon, someone that has been doing pretty well today. I want to say we saw a decent game over on the NA side, but Drasticon is one of our 3 EU players playing in this qualifier. So looking to see some big things, or there's some potential for some big things, some standing shakeups from Drasticon. We'll have to see how he performs in this one. Twilight Fangirl, no one. All early game looting around. Darkbreakers finding an early exile with Juicy Burrito following that up with one of his own. And you guys know how this whole stage of the game is. You know, you're looking for your scrolls. You're trying to find. Well, look at that build. Did you see that build?
Oh, I did.
I know.
I took my eyes off it just a second ago.
Dude, I'm pretty sure. Oh man, I saw some tracking in there. I saw some finders keepers. Gigabyte gets an
escapist. Let's go.
Oh no, Novin.
I just saw
it's always like early lobby domination. We gotta cut it down. But look at this web flashing. Oh beautiful. Man.
What a nice name. Nice build, though. He is running the 2-2-2. This man's been studying, but unfortunately, he is studying how much damage he's getting dealt to himself as he is opting to fly out of the way of that. I thought it would use Featherfall, but hey, smarter than my prediction there. Misses the zap on there, but oh man, this is unfortunate, man. He's about to get blown up. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's always funny when I see a player get shocked because it makes me think like, man, the strength of Harmony is so strong, but it makes you give up runic fluency, and that's the kind of interplay between talents that I'd love to see. Look at that. Is that a return shot coming out as well? Web flashing, just looking to put out some damage.
I think
this is
the slowest, most low octane fight I've seen in launch. I think this might take the cake.
Gosh. The Featherfall gamers are in full force as Gigabyte's just putting on a clinic somewhere around the map.
He shocks himself into the witch fan. Please make it end. Please seal out an exile, one of you. I'm begging you right now, please. I'm molding on screen. Okay, they're gonna reset. Can we? Yeah, thank you, production squad. Oh, we're back to the guy.
What an interesting early game fight. But hey, look, we have Marcus, aka Apostle. You're gonna have to remind me. I'm still learning all the POI names, like the different locations. I know he loves that location specifically.
Yeah, I do believe that's correct. I honestly, he kind of keeps the variety up in his streams as far as I remember. The competitive scene, I haven't really seen much of him, obviously post-launch, so I'll have to see get some more data on that. But that's a nice shot from Sputnik.
Yeah, Sputnik, one of our other 3 EU players in total. So Sputnik looking to hopefully climb up in the standings a little bit here. 2-2-2 build coming out from Sputnik. This is going to be the Tempest Fire offhand. He does have a pretty solid amount of loot, or like good loot items, but the belt is going to be white. No shards in the belt, but he's looking to finish this fight here. He's going to be pushing in and just taking out that flame wall. He's going to use those wind shears to do so, and now just trying to stick this damage, but a small reset coming out from Sputnik. Sputnik doesn't want to risk it. So even though he kind of has this player on the back foot, I'm assuming he has updraft. He might not because of the way he was using the tornado a little bit. He wasn't really using it to jump. It looked like he was trying to catch a bit of damage with it. So we're gonna go ahead and survey the field. And Savitarian, our one of our resident conduit players from today's qualifier, and he's using that hard DPS conduit build, the focus mana, the recovery, and this is one of those builds because of overload. You can actually get that secondary rune charge. It doesn't feel like as much of a loss to not run runic fluency on the conduit class, but Darkbreaker is playing a little sneaky. He has 2 exiles currently, jumps out into the open, but he's going to go ahead and space away with that flight rune.
Yeah, definitely. He realizes that his opponent not only has better resources, but also was in an environment to really favor that fire gauntlet. So he's not getting much value out of his stone, and as much as he loves using the wind shear, he knows that the DPS isn't going to be the best on it compared to a fireball. So he'll opt to kind of dip out of there. Kamsky, kind of in this similar environment. I don't know if he was the man with the fireball earlier. He is still opting to run the Pyromancer build that we've been seeing out early on. And now he's just looking to get some cheeky pokes, not going to land anything, and just retreat to his castle where he is the king.
Yeah, if that shot would have landed, I probably just would have left. Like I don't know, but yeah, it seems like the ping build coming out from Kamski is definitely going to be pyro with that ice, that frost offhand gauntlet. Ouchers, no, someone that's been having such a good game. He's fully read up on the fortitude, so he might have a situation where no, Darkbreaker's taking advantage. So ouchers, man, that was one of those players that we were talking about. He's such close potential to move up into the top 5, but this is not going to be the game that helps him do that.
No, he actually was in the top 5 at halftime, if I remember correctly. I think he was number 5. But anyway, he's going to get quickly exiled by Elpa there. Unfortunate. Sorry, that was Darkbreakers. But anyway, swapping off to Roaming Gnome here. He might be in the same place that Kamski was in earlier, so keep an eye on the kill feed for some action over there. Novin finding himself in a long-range fireball sort of duel right here, and this is going to be a whole lot of missed shots and 0 damage, I would imagine, because fireballs are just some of the most telegraphed attacks at long range that you can literally just sidestep them. So I'm hoping that he closes the gap a little bit. He is rocking Tempest. He definitely has the advantage as far as kiting stone, but he does get eaten up by that fireball there. So maybe he's just playing it a little bit too safe.
Yeah, I was gonna say a really interesting way to take this fight. Look at this, the third party coming in, and he had fireballs coming at him from every direction. Oh, look at the kill feed. Kamski finds an elimination onto Cyvex and immediately follows it up with an elim onto Elpadog. That's gonna be Elpadog's first bad game, I guess I could call it. As Gigabyte gets an elimination, the exile onto our zone, and Kamski finds a third. That's Drasticon going down early in this game.
Oh my goodness, man. Kamski's on a tear right now. Can you see that kill feeds? 3 out of 5 are just his name. And you know what's crazy is that I've only seen his name on the right side of that kill feed once today, and it was towards the end of the game. So any sort of finish that he's having is clearly in the top every single time. And now we have Twilight Fangirl just using the barrels here. Interesting barrel strategy. I've heard of bush strats, I've heard of tree strats, I haven't heard of barrel strats, but we're learning them today, as now he's kiting away and trying to just prevent any sort of damage he can get, maybe to circle around and get the high ground on the other side. Let's see how that works out for him.
OSK, in the small amount of time that we stopped talking about Kamski, Kamski finds another exile.
Okay, you know what? Kamski's not in this lobby anymore. If we don't think about him, if we don't talk about him, he can't hurt us, right? So let's.
Oh, and look at this. This is no one kind of creating a bit of space for himself. He might be in a fight. I'm gonna have to assume that he is. Look at this, the chase coming out, but no one has the shadow step, so he might be able to get a little bit of outbreak action going. I think he does have that talent or that skill by now, but no one's just looking for the reset. Gigabyte finding more exiles for himself as well, getting some of those kills, and the Roaming Gnome following up with one of his own. So now we're starting to pinch in toward the end of the game. Wanchito still alive, our one South American player here, and Gigabyte finding Novin. So Novin goes down. That was that fight that we saw, and you know, just a bit ago when he was playing that Tempest, the third party was coming in, but now Wanchito, the Dragonfire combination, has a Stone Shaper on his back foot and the flight coming in. So whoever this player is knows that they have Wanchito on the back foot. The damage is coming in. The boulder fall is going to be slamming onto Wanchito. He does not have much in terms of mobility, and he's complete back against the wall. The only thing keeping him alive potentially is that recovery. You have to assume that this one is going to go in the way of Darkbreaker. Darkbreakers is going to go ahead and secure that exile, putting himself up to 5. This is a really good game for Darkbreakers.
Yeah, and you're seeing why he loves to run this build so much. If someone tries to flee or someone tries to reset, he can just use that quick little wind shear to sort of break the pace and break the reset. And it's so quick that he can do it, and it's at minimal mana cost as well. So that's why he likes to use the wind shear there. We were theorizing about it earlier, but now we definitely know that is completely why he likes to use it. Kamski finding out that high ping is bad, and he does end up missing that frost. Otherwise, probably would have hit on the NA server. But anyway, he is going to opt for the soft reset here and get right back in. He is running that recovery as opposed to Thirsty. So what we were talking about earlier with the different classes and the different play styles definitely comes into play right there. Just misses the snap onto his target right there, but oh my goodness, he saw that before I did. Look at him go right here. He just instantly acquires a target and knows exactly what to do with it, and now he will opt to use the firewall to land any sort of residual
Yeah,
damage.
I think this is going to be no one. I have to assume that's him, playing around this area, and yes, it is. I saw the vanishing mist as he was, playing that stealth, and Darkbreaker's still going on a tear, finds himself another exile. Kamsky putting himself up to 5, 8 players left alive remaining. We're going to jump around the map, see what we can find. The roaming gnome hanging out, he's having a pretty good game, and Savitarian going down to Sputnik again, one of our EU players. As look at that, Kamsky filling up the kill feed yet again. I want to say that's 5 or 6 for Kamsky as the lobby is getting chopped down. 6 players left alive, and this is actually a stealth rune in the hands of the roaming gnome, so we'll have to see how this fight gets taken. A lot of damage coming out. This has to be Darkbreakers, right?
No. Yeah, definitely. That's a sad fact about invisibility. Yes, you have the utility of being invisible and it's a lot harder to see you, but a lot of these players actually know how to look out for one, and not only that, but it doesn't provide you any sort of dodging ability. You literally just turn invisible and gain a little bit of run speed. So if there's a fireball flying at you, yeah, you get 3 run speed, but is it going to help you dodge out of the way of that fireball? Probably not. So Casper right here is just looking at the wall saying, get the camera off of me, and we're going to swap on off to some other action, I would imagine. Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, having a formidable game. No exiles, but he's keeping himself alive, looking for some of that consistency. Darkbreaker sitting at the height of the map right now, just using that sorcery cancel, repositioning a bit as he's going to be finding this rotation. Oh, he doesn't quite get where he wants to go, but look at the build, man. Such an interesting build. It's so unique. I like to give it credit just for being his own, right? Like, I don't think we can say that we've seen any other player running that specific build. It's a very, very unique build, and I love that. I love that playstyle variance. He has really carved out the playstyle for himself, and Kamsky, I mean, I guess we could say is doing the same thing. And much less of a unique build, but more just a unique playstyle in terms of execution. Gigabyte, another player that has consistently put up exiles on the board, running that tanky setup for the conduit, and I call it the tankier setup because you have the recovery, the harmony that goes so well together. It's a lot of damage mitigation, a lot of healing on health with scavenging in the end game. The value that scavenging can bring to the end game is insane. But look at this, a close quarter engagement going down all in the face of Casper. Back-to-back damage. The shards are going to be completely eliminated from the belt. And that is some insane movement coming out from Casper as they have to get some kind of footing. But Casper lands a big fireball damage there. Is he going to be able to finish?
The frost shot, and he misses. Unfortunate for him. That was almost an exile onto Darkbreakers there, as I can't imagine that would be anyone else, but Kamsky's going to clean up the mess and says, thanks for that 7th exile. Now I just need to look for Darkbreakers to get number 8.
Unfortunate how such a strong fight, just back-to-back trades happens, and Kamsky just happens to be in the perfect position, and that's something that you have to be aware of, right? I mean, he's floating around the map. He's looking for the situations to put himself into those kills. Kamsky rotating now to this, one of these final circles. He's going to be looking to get control of this castle, potentially look to push for the high ground, as Kamsky does have 7 exiles, and there's only going to be 3 players remaining between Kamsky. Listen, Kamsky already has enough points to completely qualify.
More than
enough. Dominating first place. At this point, picking 4 games is kind of trivial. Like, it doesn't even matter which of the 4 games we really pick. I mean, obviously some are going to score higher than others. Look at this. He's just playing it safe, looking to be the pinch player and not the pinchy. You do see that boulder fall come in, so Kamsky going to reposition, getting inside the face of this enemy player, is going to be fighting for the high ground, but now he has to be careful. He's going to go ahead and buy himself some space and some time by going straight up, being vertical with the Firefly, and we see him reusing that flame wall, and this is the difference. This is the micro play coming out from one of the best players in the game, consistently keeping strong positioning, keeping himself off the ground.
There it is.
Darkbreakers going down at the hands of Kamsky. Kamsky looking to find a bit of a reset. This Gigabyte coming out with the conduit spray. Kamsky has to try to find a shot, but not going to connect, and Gigabyte is in full chase as Kamsky has to find himself inside the Firefly, but no, taking it slow here.
Oh my goodness, look at the different sort of line of sight. It's getting, no.
What happened?
Oh no.
No, Gigabyte's controller disconnected. It has to be a controller issue as he's going to fly straight up into the sky potentially. So now the 1v1 is in full force, but it's completely turned around. The lightning strike hitting on the head of Kamsky, as now that is just so unfortunate. I don't know how to call it. Man. Gigabyte goes down to Sputnik. It has to be a controller disconnect, but Sputnik finds one, finds 2, finds the win.
Oh no, that was so tragic. You saw how much health he had too.
No, that was, listen, I'm going to call it. I don't want to say, no, I'm going to call it. That was Gigabyte's win. He would have not only, because he wouldn't have taken
full armor
to Sputnik. That was his win, and his controller died or disconnected or something. That's so unfortunate to see. And listen, issues happen. Like technology's technology. Physical hardware is what it is. I mean, it could happen to anybody. It's unfortunate, but I do want to. I'm going to throw it out there again. That was Gigabyte's win. Not what. It wasn't just a good game from him. It wasn't a top 2 finish. He was winning that game. That was his win. Unfortunate. But hey, Sputnik cleans up, right? Sputnik cleans up.
Yeah, Sputnik does clean up. And unfortunately, in a world of competitive gaming, we take those. So Kamsky's going to end up taking the damage there. Sputnik will take the exile, and that's free 30 points in the extra 135, I believe, for the first place finish. But yeah, that's just unfortunate. I don't have anything else to say about that other than make sure your hardware is good to go at the beginning of the event. And I prefer a wired controller.
Like
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just be like that. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Even when it is, I don't know. It had to be. I don't know if it's wireless or wired. I don't know what it is, man. That's just so unfortunate. But I don't want to harp on that too much. I don't want to pour salt in the wound. Obviously, we know. First of all, let's go ahead and I'm going to get this out of the way. Gigabyte's a phenomenal player. Yeah. He's playing post aim assist nerf. He's still playing on controller. He's been completely consistently finding endgame and exiles. Oh yeah. I'm gonna say it right now. You're still, even though it's like, you know, Kek W, your controller disconnect, you know, XD, whatever. We're still watching the best controller player in the game put up an amazing performance, playing on EU, finding 5+ exiles. I mean, like, I want to make sure that I'm not just saying like, oh, that's so unfortunate. He did so, like, he would have won the game. It's just, he's still dominating. Like, Gigabyte is qualifying. I'm going to call it now. He's probably in like 2nd or 3rd place currently. He's dominating. But you know who else is dominating? The Darkbreakers.
Yeah, for sure. That last game is definitely going to be one of his best 4.
Huge game. Yeah, and Darkbreakers is NA, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's NA.
Oh yeah, dominating. What an amazing performance there.
Yeah, and I think he had close to 8 exiles, if I remember correctly. I'll look at the scores there. By the way, exclamation scores, so you can learn more than I do here on the casting desk. But if I'm reading this correctly, let me get to his little spot. There we go. He came out with 7 over 2,000 damage. So yeah, great game. And
we are going to be jumping into game number 6. But listen, before we completely dive in, this is the last game of the qualifiers, the last qualifier. Finals are going to be happening next week. And if you want to know what qualifier players, what all players from all 5 of our qualifiers have made it into the finals that are going to be happening next week, join the Discord, get involved, get integrated. If you want to support, go ahead and donate to Element SB, because that is how we fund our prize pools. But we are in game number 6, and look at that, Marcus aka Apostle getting an early elimination on to space, but no. Oh, look at this player, Timon finds a double elimination, and that's going to be Juicy Burrito going down. But hey, listen, we appreciate everybody so much for watching, for hanging out with us, for enjoying competitive Spellbreak. This is also early, and this is all passion-driven. We love it so much, man. Again, I'm just so thankful and grateful for this community and for all of you guys. I mean, OSK, Dr. Nut, Thunderson, everybody else. Such a collaborative effort to go on ahead and put on such an amazing show. And look at that. He finds that kill. I think he had Scavenging on as well. So, but seriously, I really am very grateful. I feel very blessed to be in this position, just to have a good time with you guys. Oh, Wanchito, an early elimination onto King Kaizen. And again, this is the last game, but get involved. Anybody new, anybody that's watching, join the Discord. We would love to have you.
Yeah, and shout outs again to Dr. Nut, as he is the man behind the production here. He is the one streaming it directly to your eyeballs, so give him a nice little shout out. Excellent job that he does every time, even when his house is burning down, even when he has a lightning storm outside. He is still out here doing the stream, giving us something to look at, and we really appreciate him all the time. Also cracked on Conduit. Let's get that out of the way too.
I love the fact that we're hearing him laugh and nobody else can hear him, and Dr. Nut's just dying in the background. It's so good, man. It's so good. But you know what else is good? Game number 6, and we are in it hot and heavy. 27 players left alive, and we're gonna have to see how this one pans out, because man, we have had some amazing performances. I have just been so impressed with how stacked this qualifier has been specifically, and thinking of stacked, look at this, Elpa Dog chasing down Gills as he's gonna find that quick exile number 1. 23 players left alive and no one doing the same. Ouchers, oh no, I hate to see him go down like that. We were talking about the potential for him to push himself into that 5th place position, and he just had 2 back-to-back off spawn kind of deaths. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like Ouchers are going to be able to find himself toward that upper echelon of this qualifier. But Arzone finding a kill in the kill feed as well, and Novin playing that Tempest yet again.
Yeah, Novin, he's low key actually kind of cracked himself. So it's kind of unfortunate seeing him being on the angry little boy is definitely a bot. That's unfortunate. Angry little bot, more like it. But anyway, he's going to be flying right in with this little Tempest gameplay. All he needs to do is just sort of wind spam that down. Not sure why he's spending so much time trying to do it, but anyway, he'll be looking to loop right in, get a few little fireballs, maybe even a little bit of squall buffed wind shears. It might be a little too early for that. But anyway, let's see what he can do. I'm not even sure if he has updraft yet, so that's going to be a feels bad man on that one.
Yeah, he either has it or is very close to it. You can see that zone on the map up there as well. And that's, that's one thing to think about. It's not something that gets talked about all the time because it's really hard for us to call it with real good accuracy, but so many of these fights are very dependent on the class that you're playing, the strength of that class, and what level you are. But speaking of these fights, we do have Novin. It's that play right there, the Dragonfire potential coming out. But that play right there tells me that I don't think he has updraft yet because he's using that tornado for damage. He's staying very grounded. He's trying to find this elimination. He wants to find it. Look at that, the mid-air shot coming out from Snowman or onto Snowman. He's going to take it again. And look at that again, using the tornado for damage to just get some of that fire tornado damage. He's trying to close the gap with the dash, and now he's in a weird situation. He's very, very low. This player is on the full chase. Novin back against the wall. Will he be able to find some kind of a win condition?
Yeah, you're seeing the difference between this caliber of players and someone you might find in a pub lobby. You notice that all it took was one shockwave for him to know that he's getting third-partied, and I would think of so many different scenarios where someone who just exiled the kill, looking at their loot and everything, may not even know that there's
looking to
someone
turn this around. Novin, he was playing a little bit of that bait roll, and now if he can get in, he can close the gap. He has the wind shears that might be able to full finish this player. You do see the spring step coming out. He does have that updrafted. He's looking for the chase. Is he going to be able to find this player? Maybe some third-party action coming in. Our zone goes down to Sabbatarian in the kill feed. But Novin, he had a really good bait there. I think this is just turning into third-party potential, and now he's on that full disengage. That was a really good play coming out from Novin, though.
Yeah, and in the kill feed, you're going to see an unfortunate random player find himself on the losing end of his own shockwave, or of his own lightning strike, rather. Unfortunate for him. But Novin's just going to have to kite this away. He does have the shields to be able to get back to full. Now, it is going to take a little bit as he does have that epic belt, but he's doing a great job of breaking line of sight, and his opponent has no idea where he is until right then. And now he's going to be coming right in, maybe a Dragonfire Tornado, maybe not, as he is looking to get away from all of this damage. The zap coming in and the follow-up right behind it.
Yeah, Novin is just back against the wall yet again. He's just trying to kite around, and this is that tough situation to be in. You see this player putting the Dragonfire right under his feet, and if there's any conduit action going on and you can see some of those lightning strikes, Novin is not in the position that he wants to be in. He wants to find some kind of a disengage, but Gigabyte says no thank you, but that fight is not over as we jump on board with Gigabyte. That's his first exile in the game. He does have this player, potential Dragonfire on his back. Did see a little bit of that action, and Gigabyte, this is one thing that's really important to talk about. It is not a question, no one going down to Kamsky. It's not a question of if he has found the rune that he wants. Conduit with Flight rune is very strong. It's when you're not running runic fluency, it's really hard to get a lot of value out of dash because you just simply don't have a lot of that long mobility, the long horizontal mobility that you want. So Conduit, the kiting class, the class that needs a lot of space, gets a lot of value out of that flight rune. You see Kamsky finding a second in the kill feed, Elpadog finding a kill of his own onto a Query, and the Roaming Gnome here in this isolated 1v1. Who is going to win this one? It's going to be a Stone Shaper out in the open. Roaming Gnome takes a gigantic hit. That might be Darkbreaker. Look at the damage that's coming out. That might be some focus mana action. Do we see a fireball potential or some wind shears? What are we going to see coming out from this enemy player? But they're going to be just be kiting around. They're going to look for a bit of a fight reset.
Man, I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some Firefly mix-up because he's not using it really, really well. He's kind of keeping it on the back burner, trying to use the pyrolysis side of things. But if you can put down a firewall and keep your opponent sort of in the pocket, as we say, then you can actually fly up, get a fireball, fly back up, get another fireball, and completely negate the fact that he has a stone gauntlet. So I'm not exactly sure if he's completely familiar with all the tools in his kit, but that would be the optimal way to play, I would imagine. Instead, he's just going to eat a whole bunch of free damage, and now he's getting chased once again.
Yeah, Roaming Gnome has just been kind of playing the position, and it's unfortunate when you get yourself into some of these fights because, he doesn't have scavenging. Gigabyte is just putting on a clinic in the kill feed. He doesn't have scavenging, but we're going to go on ahead and do what Roaming Gnome is doing and roam around the map, but you get into these. Gigabyte finds another Wanchido. Shout out to Wanchido from the south South American region. He's going to go down. Unfortunately, Gigabyte is looking to put up another dominant performance, 4 exiles to his name, and there's already only 8 players. I feel like this game just started, as Gigabyte does have that overload charge of flight in his pocket, and Roaming Gnome is still being pursued on. I was going to say this fight right here specifically has... I'm going to say it, this fight has turned into a grief fest. They're just chasing each other perpetually. They're fight resetting every so often. They have to use all of their shards, and either player that walks away from this most likely is not going to have some kind of a solid trajectory to find an actual win in this game. So instead of just perpetually and consistently running from the fight, at some point you have to make the decision to full turn and just try to end it.
Oh no, I don't know if that was just a mix of his brain thinking that maybe that was his own firewall for a split second, but he does end up taking the ignite damage. Needs to be careful of any sort of fracture right there. Okay, he's good. He's on the higher ground. This is good. And he found himself being saved by the third party, but still being engaged on. So this is kind of sad to look at. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually really sad.
It's just a tough situation to be in. Roaming Gnome has just been trying to create the space that he wants to find like a full reset and try to keep himself in this game. But at some point, again, I think he's going to have to find the elimination that he's looking for to potentially get some shards off of an enemy player. You see that shockwave landing, and this has been the battle of the fire versus stone as they are dropping down in close proximity, and that's actually Elpa Dog going to walk away with that. And that's going to be... Look, Elpa has the shards. Again, if there was some win condition for the Roaming Gnome to find that kill, that could have been huge for him. And look at this, Kamsky is in the area. He's fully knowledgeable, fully scrolled up, has amazing loot, going to be playing the Dragonfire off the hand of Pyro class. So we're going to see who he's looking to chase here, as there's only 6 players left. And look at that firewall coming out. That's not his own. I thought he was setting up the Firefly, but he's not going to connect with that. You have to assume that this might be Elpa Dog.
Oh no. But the fighter jet Firefly coming out, making a ton of distance right there. And you saw what just happened with that firewall. Each time you go into a different section of the firewall, that's a free 6 damage of that's a free 6 value of damage. I can't find my words today. But anyway, that's actually huge damage if you go at it the wrong way. Casper finding a kill on to carry Caitlyn right before our eyes right here. And Kamsky going to swoop in, take all the loot for all of his healing. And now I would imagine he's going to be swooping around this this tower and trying to find Caitlyn on the lower end. And there he is. Free damage all day.
The fireballs are going to be connecting as Kamsky's going to look to finish this one. He is again not rocking the scavenging, but still finding this elimination is going to be huge as Casper goes down. And you did say that Kamsky came in to that last fight, kind of picked up a bunch of those shields. So now he has all of the shards in the world to just find the reset. 3 players left alive in the way of Kamsky, looking to find another win. And look at this, Marcus, aka Apostle. This might be the furthest game that we've seen him in today. He's going to have 1 exile to his name, rocking that Frostborn class. We haven't actually seen a lot of endgame from Frostborn. You know, Frostborn, it's a solid class. I'm not sure where I think it ranks in solos, but he is going to look to find some kind of a fight. He's going on the full offensive, engaging for the Dragonfire combo. That's got to be Kamsky putting out a ton of damage onto Marcus, aka Apostle. So he's just trying to reposition now.
Yeah, which one do we call him though? Marcus or Apostle? I'm a little bit confused.
Marcus, aka Apostle. I can say it all. I can
just
fit
the full
it in
thing. Okay. Marcus, aka Apostle.
We're
just gonna go for it.
Marcus, aka Apostle, gonna be looking to find a little bit of a disengage, but Gigabyte, the man of the hour, the conduit player, resident controller conduit player. You see that fighter jet Firefly? I'm gonna steal that from you. I like that one a lot. So fighter jet Firefly, he's looking on the edge, and this is the position you want to be in if you're a conduit player. 1, 2, 3, finds the elimination. Apostle goes down.
Oh my, just absolutely melted by that lightning, and now Gigabyte finds himself on the outside part of this fight. The zone is collapsing on his back, so we'll need to keep an eye over there. And now he just finds himself on a bit of the higher ground here, looking to circle around, not really engaged too hard. He does have the close range option should he need it, but it is uncommon, so it's not going to be as powerful as what his opponents might be running. And he is going to opt to fly around, keeping the distance and landing the damage if he can. Let's see if he can land anything.
The flight rune on Conduit to just completely disengage and reposition, find the exact moment to kite. I'm actually almost half surprised he didn't. Oh, the Dragonfire combo coming out, so he's going to take, you know, a formidable amount of damage. But I'm actually surprised that he didn't just lightning strike to get that second charge. It actually looks like he's getting hard focused. I'm going to be honest, when you find yourself in an end game, if you're not somewhat focusing a conduit player, you're kind of throwing. So we're going to see what Gigabyte can do here, because he's using that lightning strike. He gets that overload charge of his rune. He's going to full disengage with flight, and he has the potential to just hang out on the edge. Look at this. This is literally focus onto Gigabyte. They know who he is. is. He's rocking that PS Plus skin, and they are looking to take him down. Kamsky is not interested in 1v1ing this man at the end. Maybe he is. He doesn't care. But Gigabyte buying time all the space that he needs in the height of the map right now.
Oh, no. Did you notice that? He didn't wait for his flight to fully charge to the second charge, so he had about 0.3 seconds left on it. Oh, my goodness. I'm watching
the 2v1. This is teaming. This is collusion right now. I don't even know what to say. Oh,
he's not letting his flight fully charge, so he has to keep landing.
It might be the difference between him staying alive, but unfortunately there is a negative payoff for that. Look at they're literally 2v1ing him right now. This is just a natural gentleman's agreement because they just aren't interested in playing against the Conduit player. So Gigabyte, he does find that second charge now. He does get that use out of the lightning strike, the overload, and he's just consistently kiting. Here's the thing, if they can't hit him OSK, it doesn't matter if they want to take him out. He can consistently kite. Look, he has another lightning strike that he's going to get another charge out of his flight. He's just buying the time that he needs. But there's that wind up in the flight. That's the dangerous section, that one little bit of frames where you're not really in control of your character, where they might be able to land some damage.
Yeah, I would imagine Kamsky's kind of kicking himself right now for not grabbing a Frost like he normally does, because that's the thing, nobody has a long range option. They're all doubling down on how great their close range options are, and we're just seeing a whole bunch of nothing now in the final circle, as Gigabyte, I would imagine, is just going to keep on flying up. Nothing's going to happen. They're eventually going to run into each other on the close range side of things, and just
the damage coming out onto Gigabyte. One thing I was going to say is, I mean, tell me, OSK, what is the class skill level 4 on Conduit? What does it do?
It lands 4 extra lightning strikes.
4 extra strikes. So if Gigabyte can stall this game to the very tiniest circle, he can kind of sidestep his own lightning strike and potentially land some serious damage, but that he has to stay alive. The windup coming out from the flight, Gigabyte consistently trying to just keep himself off the ground, and luckily for him, recovery is kind of giving him a little bit of heals, but that is just a battle of attrition. He's not going to be able to stay in that air forever, and he's dropping down yet again using the flight.
Oh no, the zone! It's going to kill him!
The zone! The angle wasn't right, so Gigabyte is going to go down, and now we have the gentleman's agreement. Has the truce, the treaty has been put on hold. 1v1, all dancing around this tree. It's going to be Elpadog versus Kamsky.
Yeah, I think we just saw Spellbreak at its finest right there. Peak Spellbreak gameplay every day, all day. And now we have Elpadog and Kamsky, the two teammates, literally two teammates, just having at it off of this tree. What an interesting zone. I've never seen it end on literally this tree. This is amazing.
Yeah,
I'm having such a great time.
This tree. Oh, look at this. Elpadog actually taking a second to just go ahead and use a pot. The Dragonfire combination coming out. As Elpa does have, I want to say he has a health advantage here. And the sorcery canceling. Look, that finds an insane amount of damage onto Kamsky. Kamsky is absolutely one hit. He has to be falling here. If Elpa can land one more shot, no, he can't. Kamsky finds it. Another win from the side of Kamsky. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that he just got that win. How does that happen? How?
Oh my goodness. So he must have landed 2 fireballs when we couldn't see it, okay? Because he is running that fervor like we saw, and you know, I don't know how he found a way to get above him. I'm watching it on the replay right here, but there's got to be something. Maybe he took note of where that last little bit of stone was that he was able to see right below the tree, and he's able to dash up a little bit, maybe a little bit of a shadow step, a little bit of dash, a little bit of spring step. I'm not sure what his rune was, but that fervor you're seeing is paying some dividends, as it can land all those fireballs all at once. And I just want to say, you saw how red and purple my face was after that fight. That was peak Spellbreak gameplay, and I haven't laughed so hard in my entire life.
I'm okay. So we have the kind of luxury of, like, I'm peeking literally over at the broadcast and rewatching the fight.
Yeah.
And we'll watch it back here, but I can't believe that situation looked 100% unlosable from Elpadog. Just walk us through this one.
Yeah, so he just can't look at. He just can't find him. Like, that's the entire thing. He literally just has to wait for this last little boulder. And in the meantime, that zone tick actually came in quite big. So he lands a fireball right there, and then the zone is like so skinny, it's almost fireball sized. So all he has to do is just kind of blind fire either up or down in that sort of window, and he's able to land easy fireballs. I mean, I don't really see it any other way. That zone tick definitely hurt him. It would have allowed him 1 extra fireball, and in that time he had about 1 or 2 seconds left on that boulder to seal it out. It's really just that zone tick that kind of messed him up there. But good stuff.
The crazy thing is that, right before losing that fight, Elpadog lands insane boulder. I mean, he connects with it. The zone is small. The strength of endgame Stone Shaper is there, and it's not enough to kill him. And it's like it's a little like I mean, what other word can I use? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a little unlucky, you know. It's a little unlucky that it wasn't enough damage to get it done. And he had a charge of Spring Step, but the thing about Spring Step is that zone was tiny. Like a Spring Step could have ended his game as well. So I feel like Elpa Dog. I mean, I feel like he played it next to perfect. I don't even want to. I just can't believe it didn't go the way he wanted. Right? Like I literally can't believe that not only did Kamsky hit the fireball, but Elpa wasn't able to get the win. Like it just doesn't seem like what I was expecting. It's not exactly. It's not what I was expecting at all. But again, we have to talk about the players and their consistency. I don't think there's any other way to say it. But Elpa, Kamsky, Gigabyte, Darkbreakers, all of these players, they had more than 4 good performances. I mean, they were consistently getting exiles, consistently making it to endgame. This qualifier was such a joy to be a part of, man. This was such an amazing qualifier.
Absolutely. I was telling you before this whole operation, before this whole production, I'm like, Crashy, you're gonna have to be ready for how stacked this qualifier is because it's absolutely insane.
I'm literally sweating. I have my AC remote. I'm turning the air conditioner on. I'm not like that's not a joke.
Yeah, it's pretty hot over here too. Yesterday after the qualifier, I was sweating just a little bit, and now like I can feel it. But anyway, grossness aside, I want to point out that we're seeing just how far the gap is between some of these players because the top 4, they're comfortably in the top 4. Okay, like nobody is getting to them at all. Like in terms of the people below them, the score difference is just so much, and especially between you're going to see here in a second, Kamsky in second place, but this is going to factor into the other qualifiers too, because we take the top 25 scores over all 5 qualifiers. That means I don't care if you made top 5. If 5th place isn't high enough to make it to the top 25 among all the qualifiers, you're not getting in.
Now, OSK, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If I want to see wait, let me think about this, OSK. If I want to see the final players that make it to the finals, or if I'm just so interested in getting into competitive spellbreaking, and how would I go about getting into such an event like this? What do I do?
Right down there. It's wait. Ah, there we go. It's a little Discord link. You see that? WG2, capital J, capital C, capital R, and lowercase n. Join it right now. It's amazing how many resources are there whenever you go to the Discord and you join in competitive play. You get to play for these prize pool paid tournaments. It's pretty great stuff. You better join it.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. And not only that, we have our scoreboard. Let's go. Let's see our top 5. And this is what I was talking about going into 5th place. Look at the difference. Look at the absolutely crazy difference. And I want to point out something for you. I was looking at some scores at halftime. Kamsky had more than 2nd place at halftime. Not even 4 games. I'm just going to throw that out there for you guys.
Yeah, and Casper sneaks his way in. I say sneaks his way in. I mean, honestly, 6th, 7th, 8th, they were fairly close to each other, but Kamsky super consistent on the day. Darkbreakers amazingly consistent. Gigabyte, Elpadog. These are 4 players that we saw pretty much every single end game, almost every single game, and consistently putting up kills, consistently just playing, textbook competitive Spellbreak. A dominant performance from Kamsky coming out on the day, and again, congratulations to Casper. He kept his performance up there. Obviously, out of the 25 players that we have featured today, he was able to consistently get himself enough points on each of his 4 games that were calculated to get himself into that 5th place position. So huge shout out to Casper. And man, I want to throw this one out there. I was really excited about the performance coming out from Ouchers. I'm going to throw it out there again because he kept himself high in the standings. Unfortunately, he fell to 2 of his last games. He really needed, maybe one more really solid performance to keep himself high up in the standings. But, he came out on the day. He had a really good performance. Wanchido was putting up some exiles on the day. Apostle was doing pretty good, especially towards that last game was probably one of his better performances.
Good old Marcus.
But man, again, a solid, amazing qualifier day today.
Absolutely. We saw so much action from all of the different contestants over here. Great stuff. And we're going to get you some more stats here in just a second. Here we go. And you're going to see all of these darkened areas, which means the best of each category. Look at that total exile count. It's almost double of second place. This is crazy. Highest single game exiles is double. Highest single game damage, total damage, average damage. It's all to Kamsky, guys. And average placements, I've never seen something so high, but it is literally 1.67 is his average placement. That is insane.
He literally almost doubled the exiles of Darkbreakers.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
That's crazy. It's just crazy consistency. Kamsky showing off why he's one of the best, if not the best player in all of Spellbreak. What an amazing performance. I'm super excited that we got to call the action. And I mean, again, there's some really, really good players in this one, amazing players in this one. Gigabyte showing off why he's probably the best controller player in the game. And that's awesome. I mean, that's really, really awesome. We if you guys don't know, because I do want to go ahead and talk about it a little bit, we recently got the 1.1 patch release that nerfed aim assist on PC, and I had tested pre-aim assist nerf, post-aim assist nerf. Post-aim assist nerf, I'm gonna be completely honest, it is a very strong nerf. It was a very, very strong nerf. So Gigabyte coming out in a strong fashion, showing like, look, man, we placed in beta tournaments without aim assist. When aim assist wasn't allowed, we placed in tournaments. We did well in tournaments when aim assist was super strong, and we can do it again with post aim assist nerf. So huge shout out to Gigabyte. I'm really, really pleased with that performance. It's just awesome. It's really, really cool to see. And not only that, like, yeah, it's kind of cheesy playing Conduit flying up to the height of the sky, but that is a strategy. It is a particular playstyle that someone can execute on. And it's something that even I myself did really early on getting into Spellbreak. Using flight on Conduit is very strong. It creates that space that that specific class and that specific gauntlet needs. So really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, and I would imagine at any other lobby that he's using that flight cheese on, the other two contestants, if there wasn't a little handshake, little joke there, but if there wasn't a little handshake at the end there, he probably would have came out in second place, being honest. Like, usually people in the bottom tend to get preoccupied with people at the bottom, and the people using flight can just sort of wait it out and see what happens.
And even in this lobby, there was potential for it to pay off because he was making it further and further, just unfortunately taking a little bit of that chip every single time. Every time he would push himself, or every time he would fall back down to the ground, he would take a little bit of damage. He had to get that float in. He'd get hit by a fireball. The recovery was definitely doing some work to keep him alive, but he wasn't able to completely stay in there. So we're going to be looking at another infographic and look at that 47 exiles. That's 22.9% of the total exiles on the day going in the hands of Kamsky. That is almost a fourth of the total exiles. That's crazy, OSK.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It just goes to show just how big of a caliber this particular qualifier was. And I'm really, really anxious to see next week, whenever we get into the finals, who is going to show up and who is going to take the gold and the $100 prize at the end there. I think it's 100. I'll have to redo my look up. I'll have to look at that one more time.
As we're talking about it, huge shout out to the Roaming Gnome, one of our players for today, gifting out some subs, supporting Element SB.
Absolutely.
We definitely appreciate that, man. I mean, nothing else we can say. I mean,
I got gifted a sub. Hello.
Hey,
I wasn't sub before. Hey, I'm supporting Element. You see that, Thunderson? I'm supporting Element. But anyway, thank you, Roaming Gnome, for keeping me in the right here. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and send a raid off. We're going to go ahead and close this out for you guys. Again, guys, if you'd like to give, subs are great. Donations are always great. You can get your name right there in the donator section. Everything goes to prize pools. You're going to be paying the top players that we can go ahead and get out. I don't get a penny. Dr. Nut doesn't get a penny. And Crashy doesn't get a penny either. I mean, look at this. Do I have to show you this? This is very embarrassing. I'm going to show you anyway. There's no cash in here, guys. There's nothing in here. Okay. I don't get paid. So make sure you donate all the way to these prize pools. We'll see you out next week. And we're going to send off the raid here pretty soon. Crashy, any last words?
Last words, just like, again, thank you guys so much for everybody, all the collective efforts from the players, the staff, the production. I mean, yourself here joining me on the co-casting, all the viewers. I mean, again, what would be the point of even doing this if there wasn't some kind of a competitive demand and competitive interest with Spellbreak? Spellbreak is a little over a month old. I'm super excited about the potential of this game. We got 1.2 on the horizon, clash mode, some options for different play styles and how you want to play the game. But listen, anybody here that's watching this, you know that the game has the potential to be something super special. The combat is so unique and fun and beautiful art style. And that's what got me into the game. And that's what I know is going to be the pull for so many people. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So again, just very grateful and very appreciative to be in this position.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we will see you out here next weekend, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anything changes, go check out that Discord, get yourself involved, say hi to all the players, say GGs if you competed. Thank you for the donation, Roaming Gnome, and we will catch you all next week. Y'all have a good one. Follow the socials. See you later.